worn out town, paint peeling off them old brick signs. Folks work hard, keep their heads down, trying to hold on to better times. Used to leave your door unlocked at night, now everybody's got a camera on. Still got faith if we get it right, we can fix what's gone wrong. Ain't about talk, ain't about show, it's about the way we live, the way we know. Let's get back to dirt roads, back to porch lights, neighbors standing up when it ain't polite. Cold beer, hard true stars up above, a little less noise and a whole lot of love. Red, white, blue ain't a trend we chase, it's sweat on your shirt and calloused hands grace. If we're gonna stand, we don't stand apart. We gotta get back to heart. By the water line, kids still laughing like nothing's changed. But there's a whole lot of talk on the screen these days, and not enough folks saying it face to face. We ain't perfect, never claimed to be, but we know what matters when the dust all clears. It's family, friends, and a little dignity, and standing strong through the years. Ain't about left, ain't about right, it's about showing up when it's time to fight. Let's get back to dirt roads, back to porch lights, neighbors standing up when it ain't polite. Cold beer, heart true stars up above, a little less noise and a whole lot of love. Red, white, blue ain't a trend we chase, sweat on your shirt and calloused hands grace. If we're gonna stand, we don't stand apart. We gotta get back to heart. Ain't no filter, ain't no spin, just who we are and where we've been. If you fall down, we pull you up, that's the kind of country built on us. Let's get back to dirt roads, back porch lights, neighbors standing up, yeah, ready to fight. Cold beer, heart true stars up above, a little less talk and a whole lot of love. Red, white, blue ain't a flag you fold, it's a way of life and a code we hold. If we're gonna stand, we don't stand apart. We gotta get back, yeah, back to heart. Yeah, back to us. Woo. Back to us.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for a special live edition of Apex News Above the Noise. I am Kyle Thompson.
And I'm Craig Blanton, and we're trying something new.
We're always trying something new around here, and we've got a busy night ahead of us as voters across Kentucky make their voices heard. Tonight, we will be tracking the races and the numbers as they come in live from local election results right here in our community to some of the biggest congressional contests in the Commonwealth and really in the United States, Craig, no other way to put it. We'll be bringing you real-time updates on local election results as polls close and precincts begin reporting. We'll also be keeping a close eye on two major races out of the Commonwealth, drawing major attention across the state. Kentucky's 1st congressional district, which obviously affects us, and Kentucky's 4th congressional district, where candidates are battling a contest that could carry significant major political implications moving forward. Throughout the night, we will break down just not just the numbers, but what those numbers actually mean going forward. We'll talk turnout, voting trends, regional shifts, surprises, momentum changes, and whether early results are telling the real story or simply creating election night noise. As always, remember, early numbers are just that. They are early numbers. Different counties report at different times. Absentee and mail-in ballots can alter margins, and election nights have a way of changing quickly. So settle in, grab your Coke product, and we will, and your snacks, and stay with us as we watch a little democracy play out tonight, Craig.
Zero here. See,
that's right. Same here.
See, Blanton, lifetime member.
That's right. We're the weird.
You got one of these, Kyle? You got a cup like that?
I don't have one that says Blanton. I'm not a lifetime member of the Blanton.
You got a Thompson cup?
Mm-hmm. Mine just says old.
Okay.
So let's get started. Let's go ahead and talk some of the cases that and stories that are happening right now that are making a difference Let's begin tonight with one of the biggest political stories to develop over the last several days: the stunning defeat of incumbent Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy in the Republican Senate primary down in Louisiana. Cassidy, a two-term Republican senator, was unable to survive a challenge that had become less about traditional Republican versus Republican politics and more about a broader fight over loyalty, influence, and the future direction of the GOP. Cassidy failed to advance after finishing behind Trump backed candidates in Louisiana's newly restructured primary system. And if you're asking why this race suddenly exploded onto the national stage, the answer goes back to one vote: Cassidy's decision in 2021 to vote to convict President Trump during his second impeachment trial following the January 6th Capitol events. Cassidy became one of only 7 Republican senators to support conviction, a move that immediately put a target on his back inside many parts of the Republican base. Former President Donald Trump never forgot that vote, and now current President Donald Trump. And this race increasingly became viewed as a political test of Trump's continued influence inside Republican politics. Trump endorsed Louisiana Congresswoman Julia Letlow, who ultimately led the field and advanced to a runoff with Louisiana State Treasurer John Fleming, who she is going to be by far the early favorite. It's hers to lose. I think she'll easily win that race. Cassidy finished third and a distant third, and it was the first time that a sitting senator didn't make it out of a primary in more than 15 years. And he effectively saw his Senate and most likely his political career end on Saturday night. There's another layer here that matters. Louisiana also changed its election systems. For decades, the state used its well-known jungle primary format, but this race was held under a new partisan structure. Some analysts believe the new system may have worked against Cassidy, though others argue his political problems ran much deeper than election mechanics. Now, politically, this may be bigger than just Louisiana, and we're going to talk about how we have a race here in Kentucky, Craig, that may be influenced not necessarily by that race, but by the same factors coming into this. If you're watching Kentucky tonight, particularly races like the 4th congressional district, there may be a lesson here. The question becoming increasingly important inside Republican politics is this: are voters primarily choosing ideological conservatives, or are they increasingly rewarding candidates aligned directly with President Trump and the MAGA movement? Because if Bill Cassidy's loss tells us anything, it's that past disagreements with Trump may still carry consequences years later. And that raises a larger question for tonight's discussion. And we'll just kick it off here, Craig. Is this accountability by voters, or is this evidence of a party becoming more unified around a single political movement? And I want to kind of get your opinion on that as we move into tonight's races.
Well, you keep hearing on the press that Trump's approval ratings are in the low 30s, yet he keeps defeating. He's got like a 95% win rate on all the races he's endorsed. So I don't see how you can get 77 votes. Only 30% of the people support what you're doing, and yet you keep defeating these long-term incumbents. Cassidy, casting that vote in 2021 to impeach Trump, I bet in a million years never thought Trump would win re-election again. He was asked.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, he was asked again and again, would you change your vote if you knew Trump was going to be the next president? And of course, he didn't answer. And it was not only an epic defeat of how many years did you say?
This would have been his 3rd term, so he was there 12 years.
No, I mean,
it's been 15 years since a sitting.
Yeah, and if you take away the appointed Republicans, it's like 48 years,
right,
since an incumbent senator has lost in a primary, and I don't know that one ever lost as bad as Bill Cassidy did.
Yeah, it's significant in the sense that Bill Cassidy didn't just lose;
he got hammered.
He got hammered, and it wasn't ever close. I mean, they were looking for votes on CNN and the live election results that night. Like maybe he can get some in Baton Rouge, but it was never close. He was never going to get anywhere near he needed to be. There were 7 senators who voted to convict Trump the first time around. Only 3 were still in the Senate, and then Cassidy lost, leaving 2, and I believe both of them are retiring. So now you're looking at a scenario where just 3 weeks ago, in the Indiana primary, you saw 5 of the 7 state senators who voted against redistricting. Um, President Trump and his folks put a ton of money into those races. 5 of those 7 lost. The sixth is still, I think, teetering out there. I think it was
Yeah.
divided by 3 votes, and that's being challenged on both ends. So you're looking at a significant change in the Senate, at least from loyalists, if you will, those who are loyal to President Trump. And that brings us home to one of the races we've been talking about all night and will continue to talk about all night. And perhaps one of the most closely watched races in the entire country right now, Kentucky's 4th congressional district. Representative Thomas Massie has long been one of the most unique figures in Republican politics. He's a 7-term incumbent, a fiscal conservative, and arguably one of the most independent voices in Congress, literally a rocket scientist. But tonight, for the first time in years, Massie appears to be in a real political fight. Recent polling has shown a tightening race, with some late surveys showing Massie either narrowly trailing or locked in a statistical dead heat with Trump-endorsed challenger Ed Gallrein. And I'll say this before we go back to the form.
Yeah.
That
I'm messing around on my laptop.
That's fine. Take your time. The polling that came out 2 days ago on Sunday night had Gallrein up by 8 points, way outside of the statistical margin of error. So this may be over before we even get started. It may not.
And it went national when that poll was released 2 days ago. It went national, like breaking news stuff.
And we told you all 3 weeks ago when the results came in from Indiana, and when those results came through, that was a bad sign for Thomas Massie. And then what happened on Saturday down in Louisiana is even more bad news for Thomas Massie. There's a lot of folks online who live in the northern part of the state that I'm seeing their social media today, and they are strongly in either camp. There is nobody that's kind of wishy-washy right now on what camp they're in. So it will be interesting to see. The other thing that will be interesting to see is what happens if you have a lame duck situation where Massie is in there for the next 6 months. What's he going to do when he knows that this is the end of his term? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, he's all the big stuff that Trump's wanting to push through, he's against. He does vote a high majority, like 70%, but that's not the average.
Well, according to him, is 91%, and his big comeback yesterday and the week before was, I vote against Trump on everything unless it's causing the country to go bankrupt or we're protecting, child predators. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. But he did not support him in the big beautiful bill. They've opposed each other on several issues.
American Act.
Yeah, President Trump has made defeating Thomas Massie a personal endeavor. This is a deep red district. Whoever wins this particular district is going to win in the general, very, very likely, probably by more than 15 points. But President
Trump, race. Yeah, this is the race.
The friction between the two has built up over time. Massie has opposed Trump on several major issues, including portions of Trump's legislative agenda, certain foreign aid packages, and more recently, some national security and military policy positions. Trump has publicly attacked Massie, calling him an obstructionist and urging Republican voters to replace him. And when Trump decides to make a race personal, money tends to follow. Outside groups, national Republican organizations, and Trump-aligned political operations have poured massive amounts of money. I'm talking millions and millions and millions of dollars into this 4th district race. In fact, reports indicate this has become one of, and possibly the most expensive House primary races in American history, with spending allegedly surpassing $30 million in a House seat. Yeah. But here's where things get interesting. The argument from the Gallrein side is straightforward. They say Republican voters want candidates who will fully support Trump's agenda and move in lockstep with the broader MAGA movement. Massie's argument is different. He says, I vote based on principles, not personalities. He has repeatedly argued that standing against spending bills and questioning foreign intervention isn't anti-Trump. It's actually consistent with the America First philosophy, with many conservatives saying that which many conservatives say they support. So tonight, it may be about more than just Thomas Massie and Ed Gallrein. This may be a test of whether Republican voters are choosing independence or loyalty. and whether they still value a congressman willing to buck his own party, or whether the center of gravity inside the GOP has shifted towards a more unified Trump movement. And Craig, I think this raises a fascinating question for us tonight. Is Thomas Massie being punished for disagreement, or are we simply seeing Republican voters redefine what they want their party to be?
Well, elections have consequences.
They absolutely do.
And yeah, and there's a breaking news while you were doing that involves Bill Cassidy. He voted against the measure to keep the war in Iran going. So the CNBC's got the headline, Senate advances measure to end military action in Iran in a rebuke to Trump. The Senate on Tuesday, it just happened like 2 minutes ago, to halt military action after a surprise defection from Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana.
I don't think that
So
was.
he's taking his ball and going home.
Well, and I think you're going to see that with, just as I was saying earlier,
Right,
exactly. Or Thomas Massie will probably do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I go back to, this is the power of Trump. They can say, you and I both know we've discussed polls are not accurate at all anymore.
That's right.
We are seeing the results of that, and Massie's dollar amounts that he's getting in are vast majority from Democrat groups and socialist groups. He's got all the socialists in the Democrat Party publicly supporting him. He had Lauren Boebert come in, and Trump didn't like that at all.
Well,
and then some personal rumors popped in that we're not going to talk about. But
we're not. But at the same time,
this race is shaking up the country.
It is, and it's not just a Kentucky fourth seat right now. This is all eyes are on this to kind of see what that Trump factor is, where it goes from here. If there are, we're all looking at different screens, by the way. We all have different screens.
I've got 4 going on my table here.
I have 4 as well as my phone. But polls have just closed in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. So in the next little bit, we will start getting some of these local election results in. But just to wrap up this little story as we get into this, getting Trump's approval appears to be more important this time around than it did back in 2018 in the midterms. It's almost like you have to have it, or they're going to pour tons of money in to potentially defeat you.
Yeah, and this will show who's got the financial power. Yeah. It's Republican money pouring into the fourth district race on Gallrein side, and it's Democrat money flooding in the Republican race on Massie side.
Yeah.
So this will show. I'm got too much going on here.
Are you having overload, information overload?
Big time. But that's what I like. But this will show who's got the power in the country. Are the socialists? And by the way, AOC, as of 2 days ago, is in first place for the 2028 presidential election at 28%.
On the betting markets, not on polls.
This poll. I looked at it yesterday, and she was talking what I interpreted and many other people interpreted civil war between the North and the South.
Well, she said
others interpreted it a different way.
Well, she said that it's time for the North to pull up to the South, and that is words. I mean, it only means one thing where I come from, and I don't think that's exactly what she wanted to convey. And I love the visual that she was saying those things as she was standing behind, plexiglass, bulletproof glass.
That's the first time I've ever seen her do that too.
Yeah. So, she said it's time for New York to pull up to Alabama or something. I mean, like, what are you talking about?
She talked about named 5 or 6 different states in the South. And so I don't know what her,
I might donate to her campaign just to make that happen.
Little tidbit of Frankfurt information. When she ran for her race the first time in New York, she came to Kentucky, and I've got the picture somewhere. She came to Frankfurt, and I believe she was trained by the former executive director of the Kentucky Democrat Party at Kentucky Coffee Tree, and then spent some time in downtown Frankfurt because there's some photos of her on some homes. On the front porch of a house with about 20 people around her. So she came here to get trained in Frankfort, Kentucky, got her start. I guess maybe she went around the country. Hell, I don't know, but
Well, maybe she'll.
she was in Frankfort before she ran her first race.
Well, there's history there. Maybe she'll come back to Kentucky and try to win the state from
Yeah.
Governor
I'll
Beshear.
try to find that picture for later broadcast.
Just before these, it looks like we're still going to be waiting a little bit for some results to come in. Craig, I know you're checking, but as you're doing that, we'll go to one more story here. Let's move from Kentucky to another major political development that has broken today, and once again highlights the importance and the influence of President Trump and what he has continuing to have in Republican primaries across the country. President Trump officially endorsed Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in the heated Republican Senate runoff against longtime incumbent Senator John Cornyn, and the timing was anything but accidental. The endorsement landed after months of speculation, right in the middle of early voting, delivering what many analysts are calling a potentially massive late boost to Paxton's campaign. And here's why this race matters. John Cornyn isn't some freshman senator fighting for survival. He's been in the Senate for more than 2 decades.
Right.
He's long been viewed as a major establishment figure inside Republican leadership circles. But Paxton has spent months framing this race as a battle between the Republican establishment and the MAGA movement. Trump made his position very clear in the endorsement statement, calling Paxton a true MAGA warrior and specifically praising his support for conservative priorities and loyalty to Trump's agenda. Trump also took a subtle shot at Cornyn, saying Cornyn was not with him when, quote, times were tough, unquote, end quote. And if this sounds familiar tonight, well, it should. We've already talked about Bill Cassidy and we've talked about Thomas Massie and those races. Now here we are again in Texas. Their voting, actually, their voting day is next Tuesday. So they're 1 week out. So he drops this as early voting has started in Texas. And now folks are going to go to the polls next Tuesday in another consequential race. Now, again, it's very likely whoever wins that race will likely win that Senate seat. However, there are some candidates in that Texas primary, and James Tallarico,
He's a nut. He is a nut.
Who believes he can flip Texas blue. I'm not holding my breath on that. I would take that bet, but he believes that he's got a shot. Now, there is obviously a pattern developing here, too. Increasingly, many Republican primaries are becoming less about traditional conservative versus moderate ideological fights and more about a different question: who best represents the future of Trump's Republican Party? And he is a firebrand because of that. But Texas adds another wrinkle because Paxton is also one of the more controversial figures in Republican politics. He survived impeachment proceedings in Texas and has faced years of legal and ethics scrutiny. While supporters argue he has been repeatedly targeted because of his political positions, critics argue those issues create general election risks. The other interesting part: some Republicans reportedly wanted Trump to back Cornyn out of concern over electability and protecting the seat in November. Instead, Trump went the other direction. And here's the question going into that: are Republican voters looking for proven experience and seniority, or has loyalty to the broader movement become the dominant factor in today's GOP, Craig?
Loyalty, obviously. Loyalty to Trump and Trump's. I don't know that it's loyalty to it is Trump, because I guess him and his agenda are the same thing.
Right.
But when you're not passing the stuff that the elected president wants to get done, then you get moved out of the way. Just like in a corporate setting, if one of your employees, because running like a business, if one of your employees isn't pushing the agenda that you as the owner want, well, you dump the employee. You don't get rid of the agenda.
Right. Well, and it looks like that he's got the pull, and the problem with supporting Cornyn in this race is that Cornyn has not backed him on a number of issues, while at the same time Paxton is a little bit of a problem. So
got some results that we've talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Not meaning to interrupt, but
no.
Remember Randall Weddle as the mayor of London?
Yeah.
And all the corruption and everything?
Yep.
He's leading his race by 25 votes right now on early voting, and the other nasty race in Laurel County was the sheriff's race, and where they were stealing signs and stomping signs, and he had to put cameras out. And they've arrested, I think, 4 people for damaging campaign signs. Sheriff Root is ahead by about 450 votes in early voting. That's all that's come in so far.
The
No Frankfurt results yet.
The crazy thing about Kentucky politics is that it may not affect us. We don't live in London. We may not even have anything to do with the London area, but we love Kentucky politics. We love all of those local elections. We love all of the crazy things that are happening in these areas. So we're looking forward to that. We are going to be getting those results in soon. The polls have closed. And we will be getting that information to you. But let's turn real quick.
Here, I got some results. Let's try
right.
our technology out here.
With it.
Okay, this is Andy Barr, and let's see if I can do it right. Replace.
You want me to screen share this?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to. Senate primary. See if that pops up correct.
It did.
Yeah, okay, cool.
All right.
Live. Rick Rogers just texted us. Have y'all heard any results yet?
Well, hey, Rick, what's going on? As soon as we know, you guys will know. Early vote totals coming in. This is a very, very small amount. You're gonna have 500,000 votes in here, but the first votes are in with Andy Barr, the current 6th district House of Representative from the 6th district in Kentucky, leading with 72.8% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 27.2%. I think that race will be closer. I have said I thought that Congressman Barr will pull that out.
Yeah, Barr's got Trump's endorsement, and he's been running with it.
Yeah.
Just like Ed Gallrein.
Yeah.
I think I texted you when I was up in LaGrange the other day.
Yep. You saw
Ed Gallrein's sign has got on the bottom part, the bottom third of the sign, saying endorsed by President Trump. I've never seen that in a campaign sign before.
Well, I have a shirt with Ronald Reagan's name on it. That's what I would. Thompson has a shirt with Reagan on it. So
yeah.
That's what I would have to go with. So let's turn our attention to one of the races that we'll keep an eye on tonight. It may not receive national attention as a congressional contest, but for Franklin County residents, it may ultimately affect everyday life more directly than anything happening in Washington, and that is the race for Franklin County Sheriff. This year's sheriff race is particularly interesting, Craig, because voters are seeing crowded fields on both sides of the aisle for the first time in ever. On the Democratic side, voters are choosing among Sheriff Depp, Brandon Moravicek, and Jonathan Presley, while Republicans are looking at Logan Curry and Steve Sutton. Candidate filings in the local election lineup confirm this has become one of the most active local contests on tonight's ballot. Sheriff's races are different from congressional races, obviously, because party labels frequently matter less than background, relationships, visibility, and law enforcement philosophy. So voters generally ask a few major questions, who has law enforcement experience, who has management experience, who has relationship with local agencies and courts, and who can handle drug enforcement and public safety. And obviously the big one, who can handle a budget. This is a multi-million-dollar budget that you're handling. And in Franklin County specifically, there are several issues sitting under the surface. First, substance abuse and narcotics enforcement remain major concerns in Franklin County. Second, the county continues to deal with questions involving jail coordination, transportation, court security responsibilities, and how law enforcement resources are distributed. Third, community policing has increasingly become a campaign issue, believe it or not, meaning voters want visibility and responsiveness, not simply someone who runs an office from behind a desk. And on the Democrat side, with 3 candidates competing, there is also a strategic issue tonight, vote splitting, with Depp, Moravicek, and Presley all seeking support from potentially overlapping voters. It becomes possible for one candidate to emerge with a plurality rather than a majority. Sometimes in multi-candidate local races, organization and turnout operations become more important than television ads or campaign. We saw that, Craig, in the Lambert Moore race a few years ago with the vote splitting with former
Ted Collins,
executive Ted Collins, and I assume we will probably see some of that today as well. So, and
that's more results.
All right, hit me with them.
Okay. Amy McGrath has 157 votes and Charles Booker 155. So less than 1%. I mean, that's 0%.
Less than 1%.
But it's on there. It's on there.
There's Logan Curry up on my television.
Yep, Curry's on there.
Yeah,
and
so
he'll be coming on later.
He is. Logan's going to come on the show, and there's a few people that are going to Logan's watch party, including John Hibbard and some others who will be there. So we'll have them on when he leaves downtown and come to us. Craig, a question about the sheriff's race. You worked in the sheriff's office. Obviously
3 years.
for 3
Yeah.
years, and obviously I've had connections to the sheriff's department in my daily life for a long time. My question to you is, from looking on the outside in now, do voters in sheriff's races prioritize experience and relationships, or are they increasingly voting based on broader political identity the same way we see happening nationally?
Or are they just voting locally on
Correct.
friendships?
Correct.
They know somebody, and it's probably the friendship thing is what's gonna make the Democrat side, um, very close.
I agree.
You got one candidate, Brandon Moravchik, that born here, grew up here, was, involved in that car crash down by Second Street School that went national. He's coached kids for 20 years,
Elite.
heavily involved in the community.
Great family.
Yeah, outstanding family, love his dad to death. And then you have, the current sheriff, appointed sheriff, that not only has a stellar law enforcement background, he was also captain of a police post, and at that time, he's one of only 16 Kentuckians to doing that. So, Brandon's got 20 years in Lexington Police Department, so they're both eminently qualified.
Yeah,
But
and
it'll be popularity or incumbency.
I'll even throw one else. I mean, Jonathan Presley has been with the Frankfort Police Department for 20 years and
Yeah.
was at the jail for 10 years before that. So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know him.
experience isn't the problem on either side. I mean,
No.
you're going to have somebody
Even on
who,
the Republican side.
yeah, even on the Republican side, you're going to have guys who retired, and also Logan, who's a young guy but has been doing it for a very long time. You're going to end up with somebody who has experience in this race.
Yeah.
The question
Yeah.
becomes: is Franklin County going to elect a Republican in that race for the first time ever? I mean, I don't know
Well,
that that's ever happened, and it would be an uphill battle. And I think whoever wins that Republican primary is
yeah, I
going to
don't think we've ever had. I don't know if we've had one. I don't recall one in my lifetime.
nah.
And this is the first time there's been a Republican primary for a sheriff, and in a long time, a real primary on the Democrat side where you've got qualified
Right.
individuals up and down.
Right.
So we got 5 career law enforcement officers running for sheriff. So any way it goes, the public of Franklin County, the citizens of Franklin County, are not going to lose.
Oh, they are. They sure are not.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm not seeing any updates. Still the same. If I can pick up the right mouse.
Yeah, there are.
Indy Barr still the same. Amy Grass the same, and no results in Franklin County yet.
Can I just ask? I'm just going to ask this question, Craig. We are at the point right now where everything is digital. We're not counting paper votes anymore.
No.
Why does it take into the wee hours in some of these states, and even in Kentucky, it takes an hour or so to
Yeah.
make this happen?
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but we used to have these little voting things where you flip the little switch down.
Yep. Oh, I remember. Yeah.
And Franklin County was the top 3 counties every year, every election, to get their votes reported locally and nationally. We were one of the first counties that NBC, ABC, CBS reported. As technology has grown, it takes forever, and forever being 45 minutes.
Right.
But you see in all the other states, the most technologically advanced areas in particular states, like say Louisville, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, every county in those states can report, and they'll take 2 days to get their stuff done, or Pennsylvania's case, 4 or 5 days. I don't know why that happens. I don't know if they don't start counting till midnight or something like that, but it's ridiculous when the most money spent on a campaign is the slowest ones to respond. So that puts those conspiracy theories out there.
Yep.
In Philadelphia's case, they wanted to see how the rest of Pennsylvania voted, and then all of a sudden, here come all these mysterious votes coming in, and the guy that was leading the night before, when they stopped counting, when you
When you
wake
go
up
to bed, you wake up with something totally
he
different.
had 400,000 votes, and nobody can explain how it is. And you know what race I'm talking about.
I do.
And, I still say to this day, Barack Obama is the most popular president we've had since Ronald Reagan, and somehow Joe Biden got 11 million more votes than Barack Obama. So
you keep talking, you're going to end up you're going to end up sounding like a conspiracy theorist at this point. So,
well, it may be, but how many times coronavirus? How many other conspiracies have been proven with conspiracy people being proved correct?
That Randall Weddle election down there is still holding with a 25 vote lead down there. That there's not going to be a ton of
unbelievable. All the crap he got in. We talked about in Frankfurt about what's going on in London because it was making the news, and Hal Rogers is blowing away his closest guy. He got 2382 to
close, yeah.
537, yeah. John Roots, that's still the same. And who knows? There's not corruption down in London. They're gonna claim it whether it happens or not.
I will tell you that the Andy Barr numbers are still the same.
Yeah, they haven't changed.
I assume that's early voting. Yeah, Hal Rogers is with 74% of the vote reported. Hal Rogers is winning all of the.
He's got 74%, not
74%
reporting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to blow them away because that guy's a hero to Eastern Kentucky. Yeah. He's brought more things to Eastern Kentucky when they had.
Well, let's talk about that
of A&R.
Let's talk about that with the Senate race right now. You know, you have Andy Barr, who was the 6th district House member, and you've got Daniel Cameron, who was the Attorney General for the state of Kentucky for 4 years. And
we got some Franklin County results.
Essentially, yeah, Logan
Curry 404, Sutton 202. Dwayne Depp is way ahead of Moravchik, 1661 to 462. That looks like that race is already over.
It's like that's 3 of the 15 polls that are in there.
And the coroner's race is interesting. I can't believe the guy's got 244 votes to Will Hare's 404.
Yeah, there are 3 polling locations that are reporting.
Yeah.
In Franklin County, Andy Barr has 67% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 25%. And again, I think that's going to hold throughout the night.
We got to figure out how to do that graphic. We got to figure that out. Well, that'll be more technology next time, maybe for the general election. Amy McGrath is still leading in Franklin County, 42-39, but no updates on the Democrat side statewide.
I will say that Amy McGrath being close to Charles Booker in Franklin County does not shock me, but I do believe that that Charles Booker will end up pulling that out just based upon the polling. And I hate polling, but that polling was pretty solid the last couple of weeks.
Comer's 666 to his closest challenger 32 in Franklin County. So he's blowing them away here.
Eric Wissman has 47% of the vote with 168 votes to Lambert Morse 82 and Delina Bean is 60. Marshall Flynn is 44.
Yeah, they split the vote, and Wissman's probably going to win. That's what when you split the vote, incumbents always want more than one opponent.
Yeah,
because they'll win 96. I think the number is 96% of the time. If you get 2 or more opponents to an incumbent, the incumbent generally wins. But Wissman will have a Republican opponent this fall.
Yes, he will. Currently in the
statewide Andy Barr stuff. See if I can pull it up.
Right now, Andy Barr has 4,373 votes to Daniel Cameron's 1,970. That is a vote percentage of 62% to 28%.
Where are you getting your results? I'm behind.
I'm on the election night reporting for the state on the Secretary of State's website. Is where I'm pulling it from.
Yeah, Andy Barr on the LEX is 2983 to 1247. So they're obviously behind.
I will tell you that Amy McGrath in the statewide elections has 1,151 to Charles Booker's 783. That would be a surprise. I think if that holds
Yeah.
52-36 right now.
Is this her third time running?
I think it's her fourth time running for state office, but it's her second time running for Senate.
Yeah, and Booker's the most liked one, I think, in the Democrat Party. But the party's not the voters.
I think the party definitely wants Booker to win. I think they feel like he has the best shot.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's.
You know, Amy McGrath was in the Air Force and flew fighter jets.
It was the Navy. She was a Navy fighter.
Navy, okay.
She flew 68 missions. I don't know if you know that or not. But Sheriff Depp now with 72% of the vote, it looks like.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that it's that dominant.
We will also say that
Andy Barr's 517-193 to Cameron. That's Franklin County.
Yeah, of the reported votes right now, Andy Barr has 62% of the vote. Daniel Cameron has 28% of the vote. And the Democrat side for the U.S. Senate seat, Amy McGrath has 52% of the vote. Charles Booker has 36% of the vote. And
That's a shocker. That's a shocker.
And there are 12 to 14% of votes that are going to other people in the race that have divided up those numbers. Way more so than even the Republican side, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I thought Booker would kind of not walk away with it, but I thought Booker would win easily. 10 points, 10%.
I have some incoming results from the 4th Congressional U.S. Representative District with I don't know how many of these votes are in, but right now, Ed Gallrein, 2,223, which is 55% of the reported votes, to Thomas Massie, 1,841, which is 45% of reported votes. That is not a good start for Thomas Massie in that race.
No, and that shows the power of Trump. Again and again, it's still continuing from the Indiana to Louisiana to probably Texas. And
I will tell you that all of those votes came from Kenton County. That is all Kenton County votes, 2,223 to 1,841. Ed Gallrein with a 55-45 lead, and
he lives in Shelby County.
So
isn't that right? Doesn't he?
I don't think. I think you're actually right. I think he does live in Shelby County because it actually dips down in there, and somebody told me that he had moved down there. So that is the first information that we have in that.
LaGrange. He lives in LaGrange. No, sorry, back up. LaGrange Road in Shelbyville.
There you go. So he's a neighbor over there by you. Greg. You're basically in Shelby County.
Yeah, I'm about half a mile away, but he's Navy SEAL. Let's see. Let me see what it is. He's Navy SEAL. His uniform, when he's got his dress blues on, he's also an Army Ranger. He's got that salad. I mean, it's like 4 inches long. All the different awards he's won. He's got 3 Bronze Stars. I think 2 of them with gold emblems on the inside. This guy has seen the what. And he's a 5th generation farmer, and that's what they were playing on the news. This guy's just a farmer, and he's going to knock off Thomas Massie, maybe.
Are you working on any of those graphics right now to update those?
I can't keep them up fast enough. We need a producer. We need a producer, something fierce.
Yeah.
I'm seeing downtown the county attorney, 1st district magistrate. I mean, we thought Franklin County is pretty much going like we thought. Here's Nate Morse got 18 votes in Franklin County, and he dropped out.
Yeah.
He's in 3rd place in Franklin County. He dropped out of the race. James Duncan, that name's, let's see. Amy McGrath is closer now. She's 946 to 877 in Franklin County, 4238. My side on the statewide stuff is not updating quick at all. It's got Andy Barr at 53.95 to 25.25 over Cameron, with still 1% reporting, 62% to 29%. and Amy McGrath has still got a 51-35 lead. So these the Democrat. Let's see. Here's a Gallrein and Massie still 55-45, like what you reported on a minute ago. What's the website you're on?
I'm on the Secretary of State's election night reporting website.
I'm going to go there too.
I will update my statewide election here. Andy Barr currently at 62%, Daniel Cameron at 28%. I can update that. We are looking at and there's nobody else in that race right now. Amy McGrath still at 52-36 now.
We can talk while we're waiting on more results to come in. The Oregon surprise that we talked about earlier before we went on air.
Yeah.
That for the first time in like 40 years,
yeah,
Chris Dudley, a Republican, is leading Governor Kotek by a substantial margin. Of course, it's still early, but Oregon, if Oregon flips red, of course Portland won't. But if the state flips red, that's not gonna bode well for the 2028 presidential election.
Obviously, we are coming to you live tonight with election results as they come in from across the state. We are updating things as they come through. Make sure that you stick with us as we are giving these updates as they come through. I will tell you, we are keeping a close eye on the the 4th congressional district. Right now, only a small percentage of those votes are in from Kenton County. That's the only county that is reporting at this point, where Ed Gallrein has a 55% to 45% lead over Thomas Massie. Kenton County, obviously one of the largest counties.
Yeah, if he wins that, plus logically he would win his home county in Shelby County, which is big as Franklin County, maybe just a tad bigger. Those two counties could carry him the race right there. If he just splits, if he loses each county but a small percentage.
And I don't think there's going to be a lot of change from the other counties that are out there. I will tell you that right now, in a county by county result, in the Andy Barr race, it looks like the only county that is reporting right now is...
Are you talking about statewide?
Yeah, Kenton County again in the Andy Barr race. And then there is another little bit of...
Yeah, it'll be a while before Franklin County gets their votes in.
It's wild. These are obviously unofficial, all of the results that we're giving you right now. Dwayne Depp is leading in the Democrat sheriff vote with 72% of the vote. Brandon Moravicek is in second place with just over 20%. This is three.
I'm shocked by that one.
Yeah, 3 of the 15 polling places are in. All of the local high schools, including Bridgeport School and others, are where these voting locations were. They have to get all of this stuff together, take it down to the county clerk's office, and then they enter it into the system. So even though things close at 6, it takes a little bit to actually get everything down there as well. So, Craig, one of the things that we had talked about is what happens if Thomas Massie loses tonight up in Northern Kentucky in the 4th district. That is a strongly red area. So I don't anticipate that if Gallrein wins this, that for some reason he doesn't win the general election.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. It's a Republican. This is the race for the fourth, and it will have ramifications across the country, and it will affect. It'll reinforce what happened in Louisiana and Indiana, and this will be 3 in a row. So you might see a lot of different of votes coming up before November
Well,
to
you
get
absolutely could.
Trump endorsement.
I think that's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of people trying to get right with Trump. I think you have individuals like Lauren Boebert and others who came and she campaigned for Thomas Massie late in the election cycle this
Yeah,
last weekend, and then immediately had to go on an apology tour to the president and basically
Yeah,
say,
she put a tweet out that afternoon when Trump said he might have to rethink endorsing Boebert.
yeah. So obviously, that's gonna make a difference in how people act if Trump does have the kind of power it looks like he potentially does with regard to these election results. Right now, these are early results, but right now, Ed Gallrein is leading by 10 percentage points, and that is all Kenton County that has come in. And that is probably just the Kenton County. If I had to guess, that's the Kenton County like early voting that they released.
Yeah.
It's not very big, but if you've been through this a number of times, just like I have. Early voting is not necessarily an indication of how the night will end, but is definitely an indication of how the night's going to get kicked off and how you feel going into the rest of the waiting game. So it's no small feat that Ed Gallrein is leading after the early voting has come in Kenton County.
Yeah, I'm looking up to see all the counties in the fourth.
It's an absolute ton.
Yeah, it's a lot. Just like the first. I mean, we go all the way to McCracken County.
Yeah.
But it's Boone, Bracken, Campbell, Carroll, Carter, Gallatin, Grant, Greenup, Harrison, Henry, Kent. Good Lord, it can't be that many.
It is. I mean, all the way down to Shelby. I mean,
those are small. Those are, Carroll County's little.
Pendleton County small.
So I'll do it again.
Yep.
All of Boone, Bracken, Campbell, Carroll, Gallatin, Grant, Greenup, Henry, Kenton, Lewis County, Mason County, Oldham, that's where the money's at, Owen County, north of us, Pendleton, Robertson, all of Shelby, and all of Spencer, and all of Trimble. Lordy mercy. Partial part of Carter County, partial part of Harrison County, which is Cynthiana. I mean, that's a bunch. I guess that's what it takes to make 750,000 people.
Hey,
it's a lot.
Our buddy Sheldon Jacobs just made a comment there. He says, "Hey" to both of us.
What's up, brother?
It's good to see you. Got Eli and his camera asking how we looking. I don't know how your candidates are looking. I always feel good when I'm on here talking with my friend Craig. If you guys are just joining us, thanks for jumping in with Apex News Above the Noise tonight. We are here with your live election coverage tonight as numbers start to kind of slowly trickle in, and we're trying to get you up to date information as quickly as it could come through on not just your state numbers, but also your local numbers as well here in Central Kentucky. We'll continue to do that as well, and maybe some other interesting.
We're looking. I think there's 7 elections across the country today.
Yeah,
I think. And we touched on it a little while ago. Oregon, that's the shocker to me for tonight. Is Oregon might get a Republican governor for the first time in like 48 years.
Yeah, it will definitely be something to keep a look at. I will tell you that the numbers have come in on the sheriff's race in Laurel County. John Root looks like he's got a 500 vote lead at this point, 55 to 41%.
He's a crime fighter.
He is. Right now, we're still waiting on more numbers to come in on the mayor's race. It looks like Mayor Randall Weddle is going to survive.
That's unbelievable.
That's
crazy.
His election results. So we'll see what happens here in Franklin County in Frankfort. There is no city commission on the primary because they didn't have 8 individuals who are running. So everybody moves on to the general election in the fall. We have a number of local county races right now. Eric Wisman is winning the 6th district with 168 votes to Lambert Moore's 82 votes. It looks like
they
Eric
haven't had any additional results come in.
Yeah, it looks like
And was Andy Barr, was it 4373 to 1970 over camera? Is that what you had?
that is not. Let me actually, you know what? Let me just go back and look. I have it 4464 to 1992.
Yeah, they're close. And you're looking right now for candidates, if they're smart in Franklin County and you're unopposed in the primary, go get some free media down at Cable 10.
Yeah,
Or reach out to us.
Yeah,
and get more free media.
Yeah,
and
I will tell you, there's a few other numbers that have come in. Amy McGrath is now 52% to 35%.
Unbelievable.
Charles Booker.
Yeah.
Statewide race, though, there's going to be a lot of Louisville that's going to come in, a lot of Fayette County that's going to come in. Those numbers have not come in yet. Those will obviously change that. The other thing to take into consideration on these statewide results tonight is that the polls in Western Kentucky don't close for another 20 minutes. So
Right.
just because you may have a big lead, and a lot of people who remember the Jamie Comer, Matt Bevin election, don't go to sleep, because you never know what's actually going to happen in those Western states. So,
and even though it's hard Republican, well, of course, the whole state is, except for Lexington and Louisville.
Right.
Used to be if a Republican was leading before the poll results came in from Western Kentucky, they would win.
Yeah.
But times have changed now because it's mostly Republicans leading all these races. Amy McGrath is still not, the Secretary of State still not got much. 1151 to 783. Is that what you got, Kyle?
Yeah, that's exactly what I have.
Yeah. So it's not much. I was going to talk about Joshua Blanton Sr.
Yeah.
He's running for U.S. Senator, but once I looked him up, I said, "Nah, I ain't gonna do that."
You're not.
Fortunately, he's not related to me.
Not family.
No, fortunately not. Not a cousin or nothing.
We are.
We have a cousin running for county judge in Bell County, or a cousin-in-law, I guess.
It's probably the same one that comes on our Kentucky broadcast and always says that he wishes his dad or your grandfather or somebody was still alive to see you on here. So,
that's Al Cross.
No, there's others on there that have.
Albie Brock's running in Bell County.
Yeah,
and my cousin is married to him.
All right,
he has really changed Bell County around a lot.
We do have a question here. What about Bourbon County? We can absolutely check that out for you. Let's see if we can.
I'm looking it up too. Nothing, no reported yet on Bourbon County. On the Secretary of State website, nothing.
Okay. So we will update that as time goes on. If we forget, check back in with us.
Who is he wanting to?
He's wanting to know about the judge executive race in
Bourbon. Drew Perot versus Tony Asbury. That's who's running for county judge in Bourbon. Let me double check. Yeah, that's Bourbon County. So it's one of those two. If he can message us, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to see if I can find the House 54th or House 74.
I've hit my
weather update. Probably going to rain, but then it's not going to rain because it's missed us 5 times in a row.
You say that and it'll rain, you know that.
Yeah. House, let's see, 74. That's a tight race too, I think. State Representative 74. See if that's the right county.
I will tell you that
nothing reported yet on it either.
Yeah, Paris.
We had him on our podcast. We interviewed him.
Yeah.
He was nice enough to come on because he's anti-property tax, pro-consumption tax, to get rid of the property tax where you can't lose your house even if you lose your job for a couple of years and fail to pay property taxes.
Yep.
They can come after your house. So
By the way,
well, yeah.
Paris has not had anything, no results in from Bourbon County yet, so we'll let you know.
Let's see. Right now, they're getting ready to interview the county attorney, and that's it. Everybody else has been interviewed, so there's plenty of free time to get some free media, folks.
Yeah, listen, if you're running for office right now and you have not made your way down to the county clerk's office, get down there and get on TV, so that they can
And then
interview.
reach out to me or Kyle.
Yep.
My phone number, which I've already given out 50 million times,
Yep.
502-803-0727. If you want to appear on our broadcast and you're a candidate for office, just text me. I'll forward it on to Kyle, and we'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, absolutely. We can, if you are a candidate and you want to jump on here as well, we should have a couple of candidates that jump on a little later when they get those final numbers in. Right now in Franklin County, Andy Barr is winning 67 to 25% against Daniel Cameron. Not a shock. I thought it would be closer, but not a real shock there. So
Right, yeah. I'm surprised the state is coming in so slow in this modern AI era.
I know, really. You would think that it'd be a lot closer, but at this point, it seems like nobody's in any hurry. Let's see if we can get any more.
Andy Barr's at 4464, 1992 for Cameron. Let's see if that shows a percentage of. Nope.
Right now, for those of you who are wanting actual vote totals, Amy McGrath 1,267, Charles Booker 844. That the only places that have anything in is Kenton County, and it looks like that's their early voting that has come in.
Yeah, mail-in voting.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on anything else. You know, at any point, it sounds like everything's going to just really,
hit all at once, right?
Through. So hang with us right now. Right now, Dwayne Depp has 72% of the vote. Brandon Moravicek has 20%, and John
72 to 20.
7% of the vote in the Democrat primary. Thank you guys for joining us tonight and continuing to hang out with us. I am Kyle Thompson. I'm always joined by my friend Craig Blanton. We're here just about every weekday at 5 o'clock to talk news, politics, and obviously Kentucky sports. So join us on a regular basis, and thanks for joining us tonight here at Apex News Above the Noise. We will continue to keep you posted as soon as things come flying through here. We're going to let you know, and we'll probably be moving super fast at that point. So, but again,
I'm texting these. Let's see. No, I'm not going to say.
Be careful if you give away your.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think we have somebody else asking about Marion County. We'll check on Marion County for you here as well. But I think one of the things that everybody is really waiting on is that 4th congressional district, as well as to find out about the 6th congressional district too. We don't have any of those numbers yet on the 6th congressional district. Obviously, when those come in, we will let you know. Just so you know, in Marion County, we have 0 votes. There are 5 precincts down there, and none of them are reporting at this point.
Yeah. So, they're slowly coming in.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how they gather these votes. Are they tallied in one place and then they're sent straight into the state, or do they got to do an extra process to do that? This is ridiculous.
You would think as time goes on that things would come in a little bit faster, but we will. We're checking with state sources as they come. So,
nothing's changed, and we're going to try to figure out this technology of where we can grab the votes, where we can scrape them off the Secretary of State's website and just automatically populate on the screen. But right now, it's just me and Kyle. And as always, give us a like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And if you see, click on the little bell button and hit all. And anytime we're doing a podcast, you'll get notified when we're getting ready to go live.
I will also say that as we are waiting on these reports, Northern Kentucky media outlets are also getting this information in very slowly, but they have the exact same numbers we do. Ed Gallrein with 2,223 votes. I'm actually on the Cincinnati Enquirer right now with Thomas Massie with 1,841. I will tell you in the 4th Congressional District Democrat spot, Melissa Claire Strange is running away with that. She has about 78% of the vote to Jesse Russell Brewer, who has about 21% of the vote. So we'll keep you posted on this as things come through. But we're updating it as fast as it'll let us update it. But at the same time,
Ralph Alvarado in the U.S. House 6th, still at 76-28 after 49 minutes of gathering your stuff.
Yeah.
Only 150 votes have been reported.
I saw a lot of social media over the weekend from folks over in the Anderson County and Shelby County area. I know Shelby County's not in the 6th, but Anderson County is, and a lot of support for Ryan Dotson coming in late. Ralph Alvarado obviously is the contentious, favorite
Former
in that.
senator.
And
he's got the Trump endorsement.
It's got the Trump endorsement as well, and that will be to replace Andy Barr, who is running for the U.S. Senate seat tonight. And so you can't run for two U.S. federal.
He's Dr. Ralph Alvarado.
You're right, absolutely.
I believe he resides in Richmond, Madison County. No changes on looking for other interesting Senate races, and there's just no reporting. It's just taking forever.
We do have one question. What percentage has been counted in the 4th district? Very, very little. It appears that only the Kenton County early voting has been reported at this point. And so we're just waiting on those votes.
Yeah, 1%. I mean, it's just barely coming in at all.
Yeah. We do appreciate Joe Johnson. Thanks for the update. We appreciate you for joining us, Joe. For those of you who are just joining us, I am Kyle Thompson. This is Craig Blanton, who always joins me every day at 5 p.m. For our daily show. Thanks for joining us for live Kentucky election primary results tonight. We greatly appreciate you coming on. We are waiting on this information to come through. We're checking it as fast as everybody else is, and we will let you know. Obviously, the big story tonight is the 4th congressional district, and trying to determine who will be the Republican nominee for that district. The 6th district is also important, replacing Andy Barr, and we will see what happens there. We have some local elections, and obviously the U.S. Senate race in the state of Kentucky is big, with Barr and Cameron duking it out. I know that everyone was very, very tired of the commercials. I think everyone was a little happy when Nate Morris dropped out, because you had 1/3 of less of the commercials.
Yeah, and he's a billionaire.
So we are probably not done with Morris commercials in the future. If I had a guess, I'd say he will probably run for office again. In addition to that, you will probably see whoever doesn't win this U.S. Senate seat, besides Nate Morris, probably consider jumping into the state governor's race coming up next year. And for those of you who are really tired of the commercials, I'm really sorry. This is that 2-year cycle where you end up getting midterm elections, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to get statewide elections immediately following the general. So there is no rest for the wicked on your airwaves.
Yeah, and there was some breaking news a couple of days ago. I'm sure everybody's seen it, where Congressman Comer strongly hinted that he's going to be running for the governor of Kentucky. So we'll have that to look forward to. And Congressman Comer lives in Franklin County.
He does.
Lives really close to Kyle, matter of fact.
He does.
And eats a lot at Da Vinci's Pizza, so he's a good customer and a good friend.
I will tell you that right now the vote totals in the U.S. Senate race: Andy Barr 4,493 to Daniel Cameron's 2,001. It's 63-28 at this point.
Yeah, but Kentucky's the center of the political universe. I don't got CNN on or Fox to see what they're covering, but I know they've all talked. Both channels talked about the Kentucky 4th today being a bellwether, but they call every race a bellwether anymore. But saying it's a bellwether for the the rest of the country and the 2028 general presidential election.
Jamie Comer with 88% of the vote in Franklin County. Unfortunately, he's stuck at 666 votes. Somebody else go out there and vote him.
I'm surprised that there's not more. The numbers haven't changed in 20 minutes. I don't understand, but what do I know?
Probably one of them foreign adversaries getting into our voting booths again.
Nancy Pelosi, she's selected a lady or endorsed a lady to take her place today. That came out late this afternoon too, where she's retiring finally. Hopefully,
I will believe it when I see it, Craig.
Mm-hmm. So still 70-39, 3004 Barr to Cameron.
All right. We just got some new ones in. Total votes. Andy Barr, 7,039 to Daniel Cameron's 3,004, 64% to 27%. In the Democrat side, 2,452 votes for Amy McGrath to Charles Booker's 2,048, 47 to 39 with an 8-point margin going into that one. Dropping down to the 4th congressional, we are still at 3,147 votes for Ed Gallrein, 2,665 for Thomas Massie. That is a 54% to 46% split at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised in the Democrat Senate race that Pamela Stevenson hasn't got more of the votes she's got. She got 333 votes, but if this becomes a tight race, those 333 could be a spoiler.
Absolutely.
For Booker, I would think, because he's the one that everybody's picked, that had picked him to win. But McGrath is kind of easily winning right now.
Well, right now, and we don't have any major urban areas that have come in yet. So we will continue to keep an eye on that. But right now, Andy Barr with 64 to 27% lead over Daniel Cameron, a 37-point margin at this point, way bigger than even you and I thought was going to come through.
Right. And one of the things, Kyle, that you and I are interested in, it's 278 to 51. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little insider thing, 278, 51.
Yep.
So we thank everybody for watching our podcast.
Absolutely.
While we're waiting on the numbers to come in.
And right now, just so everyone is aware, the big races obviously are the House 4th that is everybody in America seems to have their eyes on right now. About 8% is dividing the two individuals with Gallrein with a 54-46 lead. Barr and the U.S. Senate Republican side is up 64 to 27. Again, we have not gotten any of the major urban areas in as well. And right now, Amy McGrath is at 47% to Booker's 39%. As the night goes on and those numbers stay there, the one race that I think is over early, even though it's a statewide race, it looks like this Andy Barr race. I mean, you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago that we thought Andy Barr would pull this off, but I didn't think that at any point in the night he would have a 37-point lead, especially considering that we haven't gotten any of the 6th district in yet.
Yeah, that's got to be mail-in voting, because I just looked through every county. Not a single county has reported results in the Andy Barr U.S. Senate race. I mean, they're all 0%. So these numbers, when they come in, they're going to come in hot and heavy. And it might take them an hour to count their county and then get it into the Secretary of State so that they can post them, because I'm sure they've got an army of people in there getting ready to fill these numbers in. It's going to be, let me check. I want to check Bell County, where my family's at. Bell County. Nothing. So nobody's reported into the states yet.
Yeah, same. There's been no change in the previous ones that we just gave you. In the 4th congressional district, on the Democrat side, Melissa Claire Strange continues to hold a 78% to a 22% lead over Jesse Russell Brewer up there as well. Hal Rogers has 74% of the vote. The person in second place has 16%. Ralph Alvarado, Dr. Ralph Alvarado, has a 58 to 21 lead over Ryan Dotson in the 6th congressional district.
Trump endorsement there.
Another Trump endorsement in that one. And in the 6th congressional district on the Dem side, Zach Dembo has 45% to Sherilyn Stevens, 37%. So that's what we have right now. None of your state senator races are in at all. We don't have any of that.
Or state reps.
Yeah. Or state reps, right? So
Yeah.
As those come in, we'll obviously let you know.
So if you get a second, hit like, share, and subscribe. That will help us out greatly. We're doing this Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 5 p.m., unless something comes up in our business world, because Kyle and I are both entrepreneurs. We got businesses on the side. We do this just because it's fun to do and get the information out.
We got Donald Combs in here, says calling Massie as the winner. I mean, good on you, Donald, for jumping in there. It is early. And then right there at the same time, Dana Hodgins said AOC backs Massie. Let that sink in.
She's not the only one.
She's not the only one. And there's a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats on both sides that are.
Code Pink has really come in heavily. If you don't know who Code Pink is, the lady that started it is the wife of the Chinese billionaire that has become George Soros Jr., trying to buy elections across the United States, and he funds Code Pink, and a liberal organization, pretty far left liberal organization. That's where Madonna and all those people are. When she got up on stage and wondered if it'd be okay for her to blow up the White House. And,
yeah. We have a few more votes in the Andy Barr, Daniel Cameron race. 7,363, 64% to Daniel Cameron's 3,102, 27%. That race is staying right at the same pace, 37-point difference. So
big victory.
It's
this might tell Daniel Cameron don't run no more or run locally.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he had that big win as the Attorney General, and then he's had two losses in a row. Handpicked as Mitch McConnell's heir apparent, and hasn't worked out in either the governor's race. I know there were a lot of Republicans who were disappointed that Daniel Cameron was the candidate, knowing how tough Andy Beshear would be. And now Daniel Cameron appears to early on. It's very early on that he is losing big, but again, haven't gotten any of the major urban areas in, and probably will start getting those in now as we cross the 7 o'clock mark. I will tell you that in Franklin County, for some unknown reason, we still only have 4 of the 15 polling locations reporting. But I will tell you that Eric Wisman has 191 votes to Lambert Moore's 95 votes. So there's
already guys, people campaigned.
Logan Curry has 64% of the vote to Steve Sutton's 36% of the vote.
The numbers haven't changed though. It's, I guess there's 15 voting precincts in Franklin County where there used to be 44.
Yeah.
And
still too many.
They're closer into the city, so they're not, having to drive in from Bald Knob or my precinct at Evergreen, because there was one time all the precincts, 43 all the precincts in the 5th district, when Marty Booth was running for magistrate, and she was behind until her Evergreen precinct that she lived in.
I will tell you, I got breaking news, Craig. NBC has just announced that Andy Barr has won the U.S. Senate seat for the state.
Didn't we already say that? The Republican.
He's won that, and he's that's with just 2% of the vote in. And NBC News Desk is already calling the Andy Barr primary, saying that Andy Barr will win the primary for the U.S. Senate seat in the state of Kentucky.
I'm going to go on AP and see if they've called it too. Let's see, Alabama, Oregon, Pennsylvania. The headline on the AP is polls close in Kentucky as Massie faces Trump-backed challenger. So this is the race the whole country's watching. Our congressional fourth. That's the race to determine, and it'll be interesting watching all the pundits later on tonight when we go off air to hear what they say. And
the U.S. representative for the 4th Congressional District, for those of you who are just joining us right now, Ed Gallrein has 3,147 votes to Thomas Massie's 2,665. A majority of those, well, nearly all of them are absentee votes that have come in. That gives Gallrein an 8% lead at this point. If you're just joining us,
still close.
The NBC News Desk has already called the U.S. Republican primary for the U.S. Senate seat for Andy Barr, and it looks like he will go on to face either Amy McGrath or Charles Booker. Right now, that race is tightening up. Amy McGrath now with 2,516 votes to Charles Booker's 2,140 votes. That is a 7-point difference between those two.
And that's where we'll dive in on the total votes. We'll really nerd out on this kind of stuff like we do. Seeing the vote turnout percentages and all that, where you analyze that data between the primary race to help the campaigns. And we'll see what the Republican turnout is now that the Republicans are the majority in Kentucky versus the Democrat turnout. And you'll be able to do some early prognostications of what will go on in November for the numbers nerds out there. See what Andy Barr's at 84.31 to 36.10 for Cameron. And so that's I'm going to go check the House 74th again to see if any have come in, because I'm seeing some results in the other counties. 74th. Nope, still 0%. So it looks like we're going to have a Curry, who's a lieutenant at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, versus the appointed sheriff, Dwayne Depp. So you got two guys that work together. One's the boss of the other, and they're going to be running for the same office. That will have some interesting dynamics.
It appears that like we said, some of these results are going to start coming in hot and heavy. Right now, Andy Barr, 12,661 votes. We know that he's already been. They've already announced that it appears that he's going to win, but he's winning by 34% at this point. Craig, does that surprise you?
Amy McGrath is 3,700 to 2,988, so that's still at 9.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, because of what we've seen across the country in the elections we've been talking about earlier.
Yep.
It's the power of Trump. You know, you can love him or hate him, but the guy has got some long coattails, and they are working. You know, he took out the let's see, all the I was trying to think, what's the chick's name in Colorado?
Lauren Boebert.
No, not Lauren. Her husband her dad was VP.
Cheney?
Cheney, yeah. She got beat like 74 to 26.
Yeah.
When Trump came out against her. And before Trump, she was a good Republican. But she went against him, and she paid the price, the ultimate price too. And she's kind of disappeared from the face of the earth.
Right now, Ed Gallrein with 7,595 votes with 56% of the vote, and Thomas Massie with 5,986 votes for 44%. That is with about half of those numbers coming in are absentee votes. The others are actual day of voting. So right now it's holding strong
Yeah.
well, now it's at 12%. It's a 12%.
1,600 votes ain't nothing in an election.
No, it sure isn't.
Yeah.
But if everything,
With this many counties.
you're right, but there seems to be a trend with each of the numbers that keep coming in, that those numbers are remaining similar. So that's interesting.
Well, mail-in ballots, before you used to be able to get those totals, and it was like almost 100% of the time until the sheriff I worked for, he lost the mail-in ballot. That was the first time that anybody could recall where they lost the mail-in ballots in Franklin County,
But
yet went on to win the race by 69 votes. So things can happen.
Absolutely. We are
That was a tough race.
We're checking statewide results right now. Still remains 62-28 in the Barr race, 47-38. McGrath leading Booker in the Democrat side of the U.S. Senate race. Again, Fayette County, Jefferson County, none of those counties have come in. None of the large urban areas. Kenton County has come in, but that's about it up north, and that's only a portion of it.
Yeah.
So
they'll call the Republican Senate race long before they call the Democrat because of Fayette and Jefferson. That'll be the deciding factor, like it always is.
For those who are interested, Boone County has just come in. Boone County, that's another big county up there. Ed Gallrein with 4,448 votes, 57% of the vote out of Boone County, to Thomas Massie's 3,321, 43%.
That's big.
Gallrein wins 14%, with a 14% win, if you will, in Boone County. And going over to Kenton County, we can tell you that it's more of the same, where Ed Gallrein had 3,147 votes so far reporting, and 2,665 for Massie. That's 54-46. So I'll tell you, again, things are continuing to play out the way that those first numbers came through.
Yeah, they're following the pattern.
Yeah, it makes me think that unless something big happens in, potentially Campbell and Grant and Pendleton counties, maybe Owen, Gallatin, that unless
Boone's a big county,
Yeah.
influenced by Cincinnati, of course, as they all northern Kentucky is. Sports breaking news: Jason Kidd is out as a Dallas Mavericks coach. For Dallas Maverick fans like me,
I guess Cooper Flagg didn't want him as his coach anymore.
probably so.
Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, but he'll get on somewhere else because he was a great point guard, one of the all-time greats, and he is a good coach.
Scott County results are trickling in here for those of you in Scott County. In the U.S. Senate race, Andy Barr, 1,146 to Daniel Cameron, 325. That is surprising to me. Scott County is kind of a bellwether Republican area. In that same area, Amy McGrath has 678 votes to Charles Booker, 602. So Daniel Cameron's not even matching the level of McGrath and Booker and her votes, and Andy Barr was running away with that U.S. Senate race. In the 6th congressional district, Ralph Alvarado, Dr. Ralph.
Let me do the share.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
It's across the screen already.
I will tell you that statewide right now, Andy Barr has a 62-28 percentage lead in the U.S. Senate race. That race has already been called by the NBC. Amy McGrath has a 7 percentage point lead on Charles Booker right now. Very early. A lot of counties are not reporting yet, and this is coming from the Secretary of State's website.
Right. Yeah.
We will update that as
I'll hit you when the sheriff stuff comes up again.
Currently in the 4th district, it is a 12 percentage point lead, where Ed Gallrein has 7,595 votes to Thomas Massie's 5,986 votes. A total vote spread of about 1,600 votes.
Comer's got
vote percentage.
84% of Franklin County, 1893, 140. So he's winning that. Wisman is 377 to 194 to 140 for Delana Bean, and Marshall Flynn's got 101. Logan Curry 1298 to 730 over Steve Sutton. And I think, let's see if they get the big one. Dip is, I know he's over 3,400 votes. Yeah, 3493 to 1138, and Presley got 391. That's huge. That is totally unexpected on my part.
Well, I'm
It's just unbelievable. It's that big.
As we're sitting here watching, thank you guys for joining us. Kyle Thompson, along with my good friend Craig Blanton here on Apex News Above the Noise. Go ahead, like, subscribe. We have a daily show during the week. You can catch us at 5 o'clock where we talk about all things local and national and here in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And also we talk a lot about UK sports. So join us for those as well. So thanks for joining.
If you're a UK fan and you're ready to jump back on the bandwagon, because we're going to have a good team.
Go ahead and get on the bandwagon now. There won't be room later on.
Yeah, I just checked the two Senate races. Nothing's changed. Same numbers.
Looks like a little bit of vote has come in from Robertson County, Leslie County, Laurel County, some from Scott, and from Kenton and Boone. And that is it right now, folks.
Yeah, Robertson is the smallest county in Kentucky,
Sure.
in northern Kentucky. It's in northern Kentucky, but it's only got like 3,400 people in there. It's really small.
Well, let's go ahead, since Little Robertson County is on here. If any of you guys are watching it from Robertson County, in the 70th representative district, Mike Fisher is leading Travis Huber 136 to 80 out of
that shows it right there.
And Stanley Henderson is leading Barry Sparks 246 to 146 in the sheriff's race. It looks like that's in the Democrat Party side of the sheriff's race. And your jailer down there, Christopher Cooper, is leading Anthony Carmack 143 to 81. And that's about it. That's about all you got down there.
And in the smaller counties, and we're at Frank County's not big at all, but it shows with the double-digit vote totals that you read on some of them, every vote counts.
In Scott County, for those of you who live in the Scott County area, we will update you right now that Darren Broyles has 1,284 votes to Gator Whaley's 792 votes. This is 62-38 spread. 2,076 votes have been cast in that particular election. For county clerk, Rebecca Johnson is leading 1,635 to Narissa Crisp 588. And that's about it as well.
Yeah, Henderson County doesn't have anything in.
The mayor for the city of Georgetown, Bernie Jenkins, 1,045 votes, is leading Kim Minke 783 votes right now, with Alonzo Allen in a distant third with 544 votes. Looks like there are all sorts of folks lining up to run for Georgetown City Council. Right now, Willow Hambrick, Todd Stone, Theta Vinegar, and Karen Tingle Sames are in the top 4 vote spots there.
And there's nothing in Owen County. Just checked it. There's some ties. The Owen County judge, his brother lives right down the street from me. And I think Brent Caldwell, wasn't he a state trooper? Maybe not, but he's been sheriff for a while there in Owen County. Yeah. And I think everybody's unopposed, really, because they're a strong Republican county. One time where they were all Democrat, and all 4 magistrates at once changed from Democrat to Republican, which was an oddity.
Latest results from the U.S. Senate race on the Republican side: 16,063 votes for Andy Barr, 7,203 votes for Daniel Cameron. NBC News Desk has already called that for Andy Barr very early on after the first ones came in. On the Democrat side, Amy McGrath continuing to hold a bit of a lead here, 4,289 votes with 46%. Charles Booker with 3,613 with 39%. And going down to the 4th district, right now, Ed Gallrein, 7,732 votes, has 56% of the vote, where Thomas Massie has 6,077, 44% of the vote. That is a 12 percentage point difference. Obviously, this is early. We're still getting folks that are getting in the votes, but those are coming from Kenton and Boone counties. Those are the big ones that have come in. And right now, Ed Gallrein has a 12% lead, 12-point
Let me see if Shelby County's reported anything. Nope, Shelby. There's still probably 10 of the counties haven't reported any votes yet, so it's still up in the air.
On the Democrat side, in the 4th congressional district, Melissa Claire Strange, 4,198, 76%, to Jesse Russell Brewer, 24%. Obviously, Hal Rogers is winning big with 73% of the vote. Dr. Ralph Alvarado right now, 1,192 votes. Obviously, nothing from Fayette County has come in yet, but he does hold a fairly significant lead of 34 points right now.
Remember, Hal Rogers is the oldest, longest-serving House member in the United States House of Representatives.
Yeah, that sure is.
What that official title is. It's not American.
I think you just gave it to him. I think you just gave him the title right there.
Yeah, but he's he gets to open. I think he gets to open every Congress because of his tenure.
Right now, okay, we have a couple more. We have Mason County has come in. All of Scott County looks like is in now. All of Robertson County, some of Boone, some of Kenton. In the 4th congressional district, Ed Gallrein, 8,733 votes, 55% of the vote in. Thomas Massie, 7,111, with 45% of the vote. That is a 10-point deficit right now, and it's breaking between 8 to 12 points every county that's coming in up there, Craig, that's going towards Gallrein.
Well, and the pattern of the votes are working to Ed Gallrein's favor. The U.S. Navy SEAL, 57-43. That's a 14% lead. That's pretty strong this early. But and I'm saying that with Shelby County's not reported yet. I think Massie lives in Boone, and he's losing Boone County. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go on AI and see if Massie lives if his farm is in Boone County. And I won't talk as I type.
That's hard for you to do because you love to talk as you type. Anybody that's watched the show knows that.
I'm trying to not do that while I see Massie lives in Lewis County, so that's a small county.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it. It's a lot of fun for us because we would nerd out and do this anyway. So we just appreciate you guys being here with us as we learn this information. For those of you who are wanting to keep up on everything that's happening, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to us so that we can get.
Yeah, we're saving them because I think you said you had 4 laptops and a TV. I've got 3 laptops and an iPad and an iPhone, and so we're doing the work for you. I just checked Leslie County; they haven't reported in yet.
Right now,
if he wins his home county.
Listen, this Andy Barr right now has 18,705 votes, 61% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 8,989, 29% of the vote. It is now a 32-point lead in that race.
I just got a text message from Dr. Val Frederick running for the Republican Senate. It just popped up on my iPad. So I guess they're still putting the campaign things out, even though the polls are closed.
Yeah, that'll go all night long.
That's the first one I got from Dr. Val.
Right now, we've got Hardin County has reported some votes. We can tell you what's happening down there. Also, all of Nicholas County is in. All of Robertson County is in. All of Mason County is in. And then we are most of Scott County is in. Hardin County has some partial results. I can tell you what's going on there. And in Hardin County, for the first time, Daniel Cameron has won a county. Daniel Cameron, 908 votes. These are all absentee to Andy Barr, 749 votes. In Hardin County, down near Elizabethtown, Amy McGrath with 787 total votes. These are all absentee to Charles Booker's 682, so that's a 42-36 swing. And then they are in the 2nd congressional district, and Brett Guthrie again is absolutely handling business down there. He has 1,579 with 86%.
And he also got a Trump endorsement.
Yes.
Guthrie did. I saw that the other day. This, I see more. It looks like Moore came in for the Barr Senate race. He's up to 19, 869, 9350. He's doubled. He's doubled.
Yeah, I've actually got it now at 20,921 votes for Andy Barr, 62%, to Daniel Cameron's 9,821, 29%. So now you're at a 33% deficit in points right now. In the U.S. Senate race on the Democrat side, Amy McGrath with 7,373 votes, 45%, versus Charles Booker's 6,197. That's 38%. So again,
and remember, I said Pamela Stevenson earlier.
Yep.
She's now jumped up from 333 to 1127 now. So she definitely could be in the spoiler role out of Lexington.
Ed Gallrein currently in the 4th congressional district with 9,713 votes at 55% versus Thomas Massie at 7,922 at 45%. Once again, those numbers continued to just hang around, just stay in there. Hal Rogers obviously is still winning big. Very few votes have come in the 6th congressional district. We'll obviously, keep an eye on that, but
we were in the 6th.
We were, and that's one of the reasons we're keeping an eye on it, because Andy Barr used to be our congressman. We were redistricted out of that into the 1st district, where Jamie Comer is our representative at this point. But we keep an eye on that because it is Lexington. It is obviously a hotly contested area. They redistricted the 6th congressional district. Republicans did, to essentially try to outweigh some of the urban vote in Fayette County. So that has obviously been beneficial to the Republicans, that there are so many in the.
Well, remember when Ben Chandler was our rep?
Yeah.
Franklin County would turn out so big. Like Ben could, I think there were 16 counties in it then. Ben would lose the other 15 real close, but he would win Franklin County so big.
We put him over the top.
That we carried him on to victory, and that's why he showed a ton of love to Franklin County.
And for those that don't know, Andy Barr ran against and lost to Ben Chandler, ran again, defeated him after that. And then
our vote total then, Franklin County, dropped for Chandler. And it went down each year. You could see the pattern, but it went up for Andy Barr in Franklin County, which was at the time probably 75% Democrat to 25% Republican. And Republicans in Franklin County generally do not turn out to vote because they think, what's the point? They have no shot of beating somebody.
For those of you who are just joining us, NBC News Desk has already called the U.S. Senate Republican race for Andy Barr, and no real surprises here, although the size of the win is actually what's really surprising you and I think. Andy Barr right now has a 63 to 28 point margin, so 35 points at this point between those two.
I just dropped the hammer on that one because it's done, or stick a fork in him, he's done.
Yeah, that race is
4,000 to 11,000. That's more than double.
Yeah, that race appears to be all but over. As we said, NBC has called it. Who are we to argue with NBC? But
all day long.
And
above the noise, we're not tilted one way or the other.
Amy McGrath in her race now, it's getting a little bit closer. 7,645. It's 44% to Charles Booker's 6,451. That's 38%. So we are now within the 6 points. That's
because it was 9.
Yeah.
And it's only 1,000 votes. And let's see what the counties, what counties. Let's see, Adair's not reported, Allen's not reported, Anderson's not reported, Ballard, Barron. So there's still a bunch of Western Kentucky counties that have 0 reporting also. So Andy Barr's race is over, but the Democrat race will probably come down to the wire.
It appears that it will, and obviously there are thousands and thousands of votes in northern and northwestern Kentucky that have not come in that will make a difference in this Ed Gallrein, Thomas Massie case that we have going on here up in the 4th congressional district. And so we will keep an eye on that. Right now, for those of you who are watching us here in Mason County, I can tell you that Andy Barr easily won in Mason County with 59 to 32%. Amy McGrath won by 33 votes. 23 votes on the Democrat side in Mason County. This is just Mason County.
Yeah.
And in Mason County, Thomas Massie won 1,034 votes to Ed Gallrein's 1,001 votes. That was about a 1.5% difference.
Has Lewis County reported yet for Massie?
No.
Okay. And the 74th representative, still nothing for the House race, state rep race. I mean,
yeah.
Still no numbers into the Secretary of State on that either. That's a race of interest to us. New Andy Barr numbers, Kyle.
Yeah.
2805 to 12404.
Yeah. Right now, 63% to 28% Andy Barr. The
I
thing,
had no idea it'd be that bad.
The thing that surprises me, and this just goes to show that polling, especially Republican polling, is so far off all the time. You can never know. Both sides were claiming that they were leading in the polls. Both sides were. And it wasn't even close.
3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, both were saying they were leading. Obviously, they weren't.
Obviously, they were not, and it's not even close enough to say, well, margin of error.
Yeah. Andy Barr's probably done went to bed and said this is over.
And it's kind of crazy how lopsided that victory actually is. And then on the other side, I think a majority of people had already kind of gone with the idea that Charles Booker was going to run away with that one. And right now we're seeing as these numbers kind of trickle in that Amy McGrath is leading in a lot of these.
And I don't know if it's, I can't explain that because everything I've seen and just local Democrats I've talked to all said that they were going with Booker. So it's interesting. Let's see. It's up to 1,100 or 1,050 vote difference now. She picked up a little bit, but it's interesting to see that one play out since they're the minority of voters in Kentucky now, to see how many actually just go out and vote, thinking that Barr's going to win it anyway with Trump's endorsement. Because I'm sure, who Pete Hegseth came to, the Secretary of War came to campaign for Gallrein.
For Ed Gallrein and
this weekend.
Days, yeah.
And that got some people upset that he did that.
Well, one of the things that I'll say, and we talked about it in the lead-in tonight, is that this has become, like it or not, it is the battle that everyone's watching. And I know we call everything a bellwether, but it's also the most expensive House primary in the history of the United States.
Yeah,
$30 million.
Yeah, I looked at $32 million. Yeah. And what you think with Hegseth coming, he's got 2 Bronze Stars, and Gallrein's got 3, plus a whole salad of other awards from being an Army Ranger and a Navy SEAL.
We have
and
we
he
have some
was
more we have some more
okay, go
numbers
ahead.
then. Ed Gallrein right now 10,872 votes with 55% to Thomas Massie 8,820 45%. Almost 19,692 votes are currently in. Ed Gallrein is continuing to lead by that 10-point margin, and it doesn't seem to be a dent anywhere. Mason County, obviously Thomas Massie won by a small margin in Mason County. Lewis County, which will come in soon, where Thomas Massie lives, that will probably he'll probably win that. I would imagine.
If he doesn't, then you know the outcome.
Perhaps Bracken County as well, but there's not going to be enough votes. I mean, there just won't be enough votes left. I'll tell you that Campbell County,
tiny.
Yeah, Campbell County just came in, and Campbell County, Ed Gallrein wins 55% to 45%, 980 votes to 811 votes in Campbell County as well.
Yeah.
Those numbers have just remained constant all the way through.
That's a strong Republican. Kenton, Campbell, and Boone usually determine the fate of the House Congress fourth.
Yeah, I have some new numbers in the U.S. Senate Democrat side. Right now, Amy McGrath, 13,679 votes. That's 43% to Charles Booker's 12,295, 39%. Now we're tightening up. Yeah, 40.
Well, we got a race. And then look at Pamela Stevenson again. 2,041 votes. She is definitely in the spoiler role right now. I looked up while we're waiting on more results. Ed Gallrein was a captain in SEAL Team 6. That's the elite unit of all the SEAL teams. So this guy, let's see. Yeah, Dev Grew, SEAL Team 6. That's a huge honor as we see Sheriff Dwayne Depp on Cable 10 right now, talking about his victory.
Logan Curry.
Logan Curry's already been on there.
Yeah, he has essentially doubled up. He will be the Republican nominee for the Franklin County Sheriff. Logan should be joining us pretty soon. He's got a watch party, and he's got some other folks there as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Get him on. And Andy Barr is now 42,268 to 25,39, 61 to 29%.
I mean, I think a lot of people thought that Andy Barr would win that, and I continue to say this over and over again.
Yeah.
But,
not by that big.
32 points.
Yeah.
32 points is a beatdown. We've got some votes in from Henderson, Kentucky, or Henderson County. I'll say Andy Barr with 61. These are their absentee votes.
Yeah.
61% to 32%. Everybody thought that Daniel Cameron would do good in the western part of the state. He did win Hardin County, but Amy McGrath 542 to 295 against Charles Booker down there. Jamie Comer. It's kind of funny that Henderson County is also in the same county. It's same congressional district as Franklin County, but yeah. Jamie Comer wins that with 678 votes. So it will. We'll get our statewide results.
I'm looking at Laurel County Sheriff. Pretty close. John Root, incumbent, multi-term incumbent, 5313. Robbie Grimes at 4770, so it's 50 to 45%. Closer than I thought for an incumbent, and he's a crime fighter. And then the mayor, neck and neck, 905 to 902 for the Laurel.
Oh boy.
Only 3 votes.
For those of you who don't know, they have had all sorts of stuff going on down in London.
Shenanigans. Is that a good word to say?
I think both sides say there's shenanigans going on. So,
and Tracy Hadley could be the spoiler there. Got 169 votes.
Right now, Andy Barr has more than doubled up Daniel Cameron in total votes, 43,000 to 21,000. I mean, just shocking.
Right.
Right now, Amy McGrath, 14,048 to Charles Booker's 12,630. They are within 4 points of each other at this point.
Yes. And Congressman Comer, head of oversight, is so far they've had just a few votes come in, but he's at 87%. His closest challengers at 6.
Ed Gallrein, we have an update in the 4th Congressional District. Ed Gallrein, 19,894 votes with 54%, to Thomas Massie, 16,961 with 46%. That is at an 8% margin at this point, Craig.
So it's tightened up a little bit from 11 down to 8.
Yeah.
As the votes have come in. That's the race for the United States right now. That's good. The people are going to talk about that race probably for a week. How a Shelby County farmer can just come in and beat how many terms has Massie been in? 4?
Seven terms.
So this is a if Gallrein wins, this would be a huge upset. And
well, I would have said, even a month ago, 2 months ago, definitely that Massie was going to win, but
right.
we talked about it on this show. We talked about it 3 weeks ago when the Indiana primaries came out, and 5 of the 7 senators there lost. That Trump endorsed their opponents because they went against them in redistricting. Then we saw what happened with Bill Cassidy down in the Louisiana Senate race. And you just kind of saw the stars kind of aligning, that this may happen. So, I don't think anybody's surprised, at least in the last 2 weeks, if you've been following this, to see this happen. But goodness gracious, if you had gone back 2 months ago, you would have definitely thought that it wasn't going to be.
In the polling, Gallrein has just, in the last week, on the positive side for him.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that? He was always behind until the last week. And looking at Dr. Alvarado's race for the 6th Congress on the Republican side, he's up 43-48 to 1963.
57% to Ryan Dotson's 26%. And listen, anybody that is willing to put their name on a ballot, good on you. I mean, it is not easy. It's not easy on their family. It's not easy on their friends. It's not easy on their business. These folks are willing to do that. So good on them for doing that.
And thank you, Kyle, for doing it several times.
Yeah, I'm enjoying.
I always ran the campaigns. I never threw my hat in the ring because I was too chicken.
Well,
but you ran and won several times, and I personally think you did one hell of a job.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot. We are enjoying this aspect of our life after that, as we commenting on that and providing the news. Looks like we might have somebody trying to join us. Well, it looked like we have.
I heard the beep.
Yeah. Logan, if that's you, try to jump back in there, but we'll see what happens here. Dwayne Depp will win the Democrat side for the sheriff's race in Franklin County. And
Booker won Franklin County over Amy McGrath.
33-47 to 25-77. So that's 10-point lead here in Frankfort. Updating some of these numbers as they come in right now. Andy Barr continues to have he continues to double up Daniel Cameron, 45,902 to 23,536, 60% to 31%. NBC News Desk has already called that for Andy Barr. Amy McGrath in her race, 15,310 to 13,861. That is a 4-point race right now.
That's exciting.
And the one that everybody's watching right now is Ed Gallrein with 19,894 votes, 54%, to Thomas Massie's 16,961, 46%. Again, most of that area, those counties, including Trimble, Shelby, Henry, all of that, Carroll County, they have not reported in, but a good majority of Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties, which is the Cincinnati proper area, have reported a majority of their votes, and Ed Gallrein is continuing to have a lead.
Yeah, Harrison County's got some votes in, and Gallrein's winning 56-44, 1159 to 898. A little bit tighter than the other counties. Kenton's, you already talked about that. Nothing on Lewis County. I'm just interested in that because that's where Massie lives, where his farm's at. Mason County, they're only a 33 vote difference. Oldham County hadn't reported. It's a pretty large county. Pendleton's come in, another northern Kentucky county, 400 vote difference favoring Gallrein. Robertson, you've talked about. Shelby's nothing, a big county, big population, and a big Republican county. So this race it's far from over. It's not a given to say Gallrein's are going to win. Same thing in the Democrat U.S. Senate race.
It's not, and obviously it would be it would be monumental because Thomas Massie has been an outspoken opponent, regardless of whether you make the claim that he's voted with Trump's agenda 91% of the time or whatever number they throw out there on the big things over the last year. He has not voted in favor. He didn't vote in favor of the big beautiful bill. He didn't vote for that twice when it came back. Right. He did not vote on some foreign policy issues that have come through. And regardless of, he is principled in the sense that Thomas Massie will vote how Thomas Massie wants to vote. You can't tell Thomas Massie how to vote. So we will see what that means. But at this point right now, it appears that all of the money that's been poured into Northern Kentucky has benefited Ed Gallrein, and he does hold an 8-point lead at this point as we are looking at the votes that are coming in.
I see former Sheriff Quire down at Franklin County Clerk's office.
Well, Malachi Moreno just posted two sets of eyeballs on his Twitter. So all of Kentucky fans, go ahead and overreact to that. I don't know what it means. I don't know.
What do you say?
Just two sets of eyeballs. That's all.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's on his Twitter.
Well, the latest prognostication, pick predictions have got him in the middle of the second round. If that's true, then if Pope's got any brains at all, which I know he does because he's almost a doctor, he's a Rhodes Scholar, he will back up the Brinks truck and open it up to get Moreno here.
Yeah. Well, and
we can pay second round money.
Also, Momchilovich needs to come back home too. So let's go ahead and update some of these numbers. Andy Barr, that race is obviously over, as we've said. But right now he has 59% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 31% of the vote. Amy McGrath currently with 17,487, 43% of the vote to Charles Booker's 15,578 votes. That's 39%. Jamie Comer is running away with the 1st Congressional District Republican side. So is Brett Guthrie. In the 2nd Congressional District to be his opponent in the fall, Megan Wingfield is winning that handily as well. But moving to the here we go, the 4th Congressional District. This is more numbers have come in. Ed Gallrein, 22,691 votes, 54%. To Thomas Massie, 19,181, also 46%. Which
3,500 votes.
Yeah, so that's about 3,500 votes at this point. And now we're getting into the point of where are you going to find a $3,500 vote difference in these smaller counties? I'm looking at Carroll and Trimble. Oldham County is going to have a lot of votes that come in. Obviously,
Oldham and Shelby.
Oldham and Shelby are going to be your big vote getters. And Mason's already in, Pendleton's already in, and like I said, Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, a lot of their votes are in, but we will wait and see. For those of you who don't know Kentucky very well, Oldham County is just north of Jefferson County, where Louisville is. Shelby County is just east of Jefferson County. Both of those are essentially suburb-type areas of Jefferson County. They are in the 4th Congressional District, which encompasses all of northern Kentucky, all the way to Cincinnati, and then all the way across to Mason County and Lewis counties as well. So it takes that whole area all the way across the top of the state, and abuts the 1st Congressional District where we are as well. So
Shelby County it'll offset any of the big northern Kentucky that Massie gets, I think. We go to Shelby County a lot because our daughter lives there, and it's a mile away.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of Gallrein signs everywhere. And what was it in Oldham County when I went up to LaGrange to that quarry?
Yep.
Ed Gallrein was everywhere. So I'm just by looking at the signs in Oldham County, he should win Oldham County. I don't know by how much.
Yep.
But his signs were everywhere, whether they were the big 4x8 signs or the yard signs. When we drove back to that quarry, it was there. He was everywhere. I even sent you some pictures, I think.
You did. I will tell you guys, some folks in our chat are saying that we're way behind. Listen, we're going by the Secretary of State's reporting,
Right.
where everything falls in. I will tell you, Anderson County has just come in, and we have the exact same numbers as the Cincinnati Enquirer. So take that for what it's worth. We're glad you have joined us. We're very happy you have joined us, and continue to watch us. If you would, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe as well, so you can find it in the future. Andy Barr wins huge in Anderson County, 2,625 to 912. Amy McGrath wins by 32 votes in Anderson County, 796 to 764. Jamie Comer wins big in the first congressional. Ralph Alvarado, big win in Anderson County as well. I will tell you that this is big for folks watching in the Anderson County area, and I'm going to have breaking news here. It appears that Dottie McCann Watts is going to win the Republican nomination for the county attorney over the incumbent, Robert Weedo, 1,774 to 2,113. That is an 8-point swing. It appears that Dottie Watts is going to...
It's a big upset.
That is a big upset, and that means that Dottie Watts will be your county attorney come January of 2027.
And Weedo had signs everywhere. Of course, he's been accumulating them, but he had signs everywhere. So signs don't mean you're going to win.
Signs don't vote. Isn't that what we always said?
Yeah, signs don't vote. But that's a pretty big upset, I think.
I think it's real big.
Votes 400 votes in a small county. That's pretty darn big. That's a big 54-46. That's
well, I know some of you all were watching this, wanting to know that. So there you go. We will see what happens in that.
Let's might as well go through the rest of them too.
Yeah.
The first district is Rodney Durr over Anthony Searcy so far, 240 to 150. Third magisterial district is Edmondson over Kelly, 283, 171. Fifth is Cotton. I saw a lot of his signs out everywhere. He's winning easily, 568 to 305, 65-35. And the sixth is Kenny Barrett over Ellis Jr. at second place, 415 to 232, and three other candidates.
All right. Before we bring Logan on here, let me reset the map here with these numbers. Andy Barr has been announced as the winner of the U.S. Senate on the Republican side. He has 76,912 to Daniel Cameron's 38,854. He has doubled him up 60 to 30 points. Yeah. Right now, Amy McGrath has a very small lead, 26,267, 42% to Charles Booker's 24,596. And I will tell you, Fayette County and Jefferson County have no numbers yet. So that is not looking good. But I will tell you, Pamela Stevenson, as we talked about, has almost 4,000 votes. She has 6% of the vote, and she is definitely going to be the spoiler for both those.
That's the one I've been watching. She's run for office before, and she had name ID.
Yep.
So she could be the spoiler. She's going to be.
And the big one that everybody's watching tonight, currently, right now, Ed Gallrein, 35,288 votes. He has 54% of the vote to Thomas Massie's 29,724. It is holding at an 8% margin with 46% to Thomas Massie at this point. Again, we're looking at the map, you and I right now. Oldham County and Shelby County are still out. Those votes are not in, but we're getting to the point now, Craig. We're at 5,500 vote difference, and
Yeah, it's going to
I don't
be.
know where you're going to find 5,500 votes. And in Franklin County, there I believe Gallrein actually. Well, we didn't vote in that
No,
particular.
we don't do Gallrein. We do Comer.
I was looking at
That
Comer.
5,500 votes, and knowing that Shelby County is probably 3 times bigger than Lewis County. That's going when Shelby County comes in. If Gallrein wins his home county big, which normally you do, that could be the final nail in the coffin.
All of Kenton County is in. Every bit of Kenton County is in. Ed Gallrein wins Kenton County by 1,100 votes. So it's a 6-point win for Ed Gallrein in Kenton County, which is essentially Cincinnati proper. So we'll keep an eye on that. We are going to jump in here right now with our good friend Logan Curry. Logan,
how you doing?
How are you?
Congratulations.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, Logan, you have thrown your hat in the ring here to run in the local sheriff's race. Tell us why you wanted to do that, and go ahead and thank all the folks you want to thank, because there's lots, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I'll start out. I want to thank my wife, of course. My wife has done so much for me this campaign. Without her, I wouldn't be here. She keeps me on my toes. She makes sure I'm where I need to be. She's constantly keeping me upbeat and don't let me get down on myself. My parents, my grandparents, they're my rock. They've been there from day one. They're my biggest supporters. My friends, they've all already texted, called me, saying congratulations, and it's just the beginning. And I want to thank everybody. Huh? Oh yeah, my phone is going nuts. I want to thank all my supporters. I mean, everybody went out and voted today. Everybody that texted me, comment on Facebook. I'm extremely thankful. I want to thank everybody that's donated to our campaign so far. It's been huge. I can't thank them enough to take their own money and put a chance on me, and it means a lot to me. And but most importantly, I want to thank my guys that work the road. Not for saying they support me or don't support me. I'm not getting into all that, but I just thank them because they're out here working right now. They're not out here hanging out and eating and having a good time. They're out here working the road. They're the ones that are doing the job, and they're the ones that are working hard. And I can't thank them enough. And I don't think they get enough praise for what they do. I've been there. And if I'm elected in November, a day won't go by that I don't thank them for everything they do and their families. My family's been through it. I've worked night shifts, weekends, holidays, and that goes unnoticed a lot of times. And the guys, they like to be thanked. Not saying that they want to be pat on the back all the time, but it's important to keep their spirits up and check on them, make sure they're doing okay. And that the guys want to hear that. And I bring that to the table, and I don't feel like my other half or the other side does. And I hate to, I'll say it straight up that, I mean, I care about my guys and they're my number one. And without them, we wouldn't have an office. I mean, they're the ones that when you call 911, they're the ones that show up and answer the call. And all the thanks go to them. And like I said, I appreciate every single one of them, all the hard work they put in. And but as far as running for sheriff, it's been a dream of mine. I mean, Chris told me multiple times, I think you're going to run this office one day. I have full faith in you to run this office. You're the future of this place. Multiple people in the office told me you're the future of Franklin County Sheriff's Office. And when Chris decided he wasn't going to run, I said, well, I'm going to throw my name in the hat. What Chris did was great. Everybody loved Chris. Chris did a great job. And I just want to continue that and stay down that path and not veer off of it. And I think Chris did care about his guys. Chris did check on us. When I worked the road, Chris did check and make sure we were okay. Do we need anything? Something like that. And I think some of that's been lost. And I just want to bring that back to the guys. And but anyways, when I decided to run, I was like, this is my time. I'm going to do it. And me and my wife talked, and here we are now. From day one, I was like, didn't expect all this.
Tell us about you advanced, you're 32, right?
I am 32. So I
Yeah,
started
and you're
out
already a lieutenant. And when I was
correct.
in the sheriff's office, we didn't have any 32-year-old lieutenants, and I was there 3 years, and so you've advanced pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm young, and a lot of people told me that, but a lot of the guys, I mean, I got deputies that are older than me, and most of them are older than me, and SROs, and a lot of them told me like they don't. It's no big deal that I'm younger than them. They see that I do a good job and I take care of people, and I don't see the age as a big deal. I don't treat my position like I'm better than someone.
Mhm.
I'm not going to ask a guy to go do something I wouldn't do. I still go out. I'll take calls. I'll take reports. If the guys are backed up and they holler at me, I'm there in a heartbeat. Day, night, it don't matter what it is. I'm
You're out
there.
on the
I'm
road a
going to be
lot.
there.
You're out on the road a lot, not in office.
I do both. So I have a lot of admin duties. I try to get to work early. I try to knock out all my admin duties. I take care of all open record, body cameras, all that stuff, and I make sure I get all that knocked out early. And then like the most important things, and then I keep my radio on. If they get busy or I notice they're busy, I'm out the door and going to help them. Or if they got a hot call or something like that, I'm there. I want to be there with
Yeah.
them and take care of them. And I mean, I still cover shift. Like if somebody needs off for something or has something with family or something like that, and they call, "Hey, yeah, I'll work. I'll come in at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Like when we
I
had
mean,
not too
are you
long
gonna
ago, we had
take
an
a
officer involved.
vacation? You gonna take a
Huh?
vacation? You gonna take a vacation now, or are you gonna start
No,
tomorrow on the general election and
my
say,
next
I
vacation is
can
going to
sleep
be
after November?
4th of July is going to be my next vacation. My son's playing baseball in Florida, so I'll be down there for a week. When we get back from there, we're going to be hitting the ground running hard. So, um, but I'm thankful for it. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. Had a lot of the guys text me; they're excited. So it's gonna be good.
Well,
How's
Logan,
your? Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, Logan, we can't thank you enough. We're joined by Logan Curry, who is the Republican nominee for sheriff in Franklin County. He'll be taking on the current sitting sheriff, Dwayne Depp, in the fall. It will be one that we keep an eye on. Logan, I know that you have your wife and you have a whole house full of people here, so we won't keep you
Oh yeah,
longer. But we just want to say thanks for joining us. But also, I know you want to give a final shout out to all the people who have supported you up to this point. Anybody that wants to get to know you and follow you, where can they catch you before you jump off here?
yeah. So we got a Facebook page, of course. You can follow me on there. It's Logan Curry for Sheriff. We have a website. It's Curry for Sheriff. But you can reach out. You can message me on there. My phone number's all over the place. You can find my phone number in a heartbeat. I promise you. I've had a bunch of people message me.
Yours and Jeff Farmer's phone number. Everybody has.
Yeah, very easy number to find. But just reach out if you have any questions or want to talk or anything. I'm always open to talk, no matter day or night. As long as we're not playing baseball, I'm good to talk.
I hear that. Well, Logan, thank you for joining us. Go back and join the rest of your friends and family. Thanks for coming on here with us, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you,
Yep.
Kyle. Appreciate it. Thank you,
Good
Craig.
luck. All right, we'll see
Thank
you.
you.
That was Logan Curry. For those of you guys who are just joining us right now, you have found Apex News Above the Noise. This is a daily weekday podcast that Craig and I have. Me and my good friend Craig. We are thankful for you guys joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you can find us. We talk all things Commonwealth of Kentucky, national news, and obviously Kentucky sports. So thanks you guys for joining us, and we're going to continue to update you right now with the numbers as they come across. Craig, Andy Barr's continuing to dominate Daniel Cameron. Obviously, that race is over, but now we're getting to the point where it's almost a little embarrassing. 88,673 to 43,333, 61 to 30%. It's not even close. The race that we'll watch right now is the U.S. Senate on the Democrat side. Again, no, we do not have any Jefferson County. We don't have any Fayette County. It looks like we have not gotten any Fayette County in yet. Right now, Amy McGrath, 30,409 to Charles Booker's 28,841. That is a vote difference of about 1,600 votes at this point. 42% to 40%. Once again, Pamela Stevenson now has 7% of the vote.
She's going to do it.
And she's
going to be the spoiler.
The spoiler for sure.
Yeah.
Jamie Comer is running away with his. He has 87% of the vote in the first congressional district. Brett Guthrie with 84%. And then we go down to the 4th Congressional District right now. Ed Gallrein continues to lead, 35,288 votes to Thomas Massie, 29,724 votes. That's 65,000 votes in. It's still an 8% vote difference at this point. We have gotten the Henry County vote is all in. Oldham County has not reported any numbers yet. Shelby County has not reported any numbers. And that is the last significant numbers in the 4th district that are going to come in. Lewis County hasn't come in yet. Looks like Greenup County has just come in at this point.
Another small county.
That's and in Greenup County, Ed Gallrein with 2,483 votes to Thomas Massie, 1,668. He won by 20 points in Greenup County. 800 vote difference in Greenup County.
So say I'm looking at the House 74th, and David F. Charles is 1127, Shannon Dennison 496, Aaron Williams 282. That's an open seat. So he had 3 guys battling hard for that one. And the local races, I think all the counties are in now. So Andy Barr 2548 over Cameron 1114. So he won by 1,400 votes.
In Franklin County.
In Franklin County, yeah. And I'll go through them as they go through, because it looks like all 15 of the voting booths have reported. Next is Booker won Franklin County 47-34, 39-81 to 26-79. Again, another bit of a surprise. And Pamela Stevenson got 523 votes, so she could have been a spoiler here too in Franklin County. Next will be Jamie Comer, got 83% of the vote, 33-42 to 265 to David Sims, his closest opponent. So he walked on that one. And Jamie and then Eric Wisman won 659 to 313 over Lambert Moore, 47% to 22%. So he kind of walked in that one. Curry, 23-20 to 1341 in the Republican sheriff's race. And then Dwayne Depp also walked. Let's see. Dwayne Forstep. He won easily. I don't know what they've done there. The numbers were wrong. And then Will Harrod run against a former employee, 69-46 to 1407 for the Franklin County coroner. That should be everybody. Yeah, they're running through them again. So Will be our coroner for another term. Yeah, unopposed on the Republican side. So he won his race.
Just to kind of reset everything right here for everybody, just so you guys know, in the U.S. Senate race on the Republican side, NBC and CNN have both called it for Andy Barr, who now has 97,320 total votes, or 61% of the vote, to Daniel Cameron's 47,150, or 30% of the vote. Right now in the U.S. Senate side, on the Democrat side, Amy McGrath with 32,629, or 42%, to Charles Booker's 30,713, about 1,900 votes. He has 40% of the vote there. About 1.5% to 2% is the difference there. Jamie Comer easily winning his race. Brett Guthrie easily winning his race. Megan Wingfield will be the Democrat candidate on the 2nd Congressional District side, where she had 3,200 votes tonight. For the 3rd Congressional District, there are no votes in yet for the Republican side, where they will take on the current sitting legislator from Louisville. And right now, Ed Gallrein continues to have a lead in the 4th Congressional District, 35,502 votes to Thomas Massie's 29,840 votes, which is about 5,700 votes at this point, Craig. And on the Democrat side in that race, Melissa Claire Strange has 19,392, or 73%. 55% of the vote. In the 6th congressional district, Dr. Ralph Alvarado has 16,344 votes, or 55%, to Ryan Dotson, 8,237, or 28%. On the Democrat side, Zach Dimbo has 7,585 votes, which is 38%, to Sherilyn Stevenson with 31%, with 6,028
Let me
votes.
interrupt for a second. Cloud Pick 502 asks, has Frankfort announced sheriff primaries? And yes, Dwayne Depp won on the Democrat side and Logan Curry won on the Republican side.
Dwayne Depp won surprisingly easily. I think you would agree with that. And Logan Curry with about 60% of the vote on the Republican side. So those will be the two that end up running in November. Thank you for joining us tonight as we are updating you on all of the election news around the state. I will tell you, Shelby County has just come in, and we will update the numbers now that Shelby County will go directly to that 4th congressional district, where Ed Gallrein has 40,707 votes, or 55%, and Thomas Massie 33,639 votes, or 45%. Time is about up at this point for Thomas Massie.
LEX 18 has called the race for Ed Gallrein.
Well, I will say that I think that is fair, and all the numbers are panning out that way as well. Dr. Ralph Alvarado, currently with 16,344 votes to Ryan Dotson's 8,237, 55 points to 28 points. It strongly looks like Dr. Ralph Alvarado will be the Republican nominee.
What are you showing on the Democrat Senate? The Herald, I'll tell you what the Herald's got.
Right now, Amy McGrath, 35,324 to Charles Booker, 33,540, a difference of just less than 1,700 votes, 52%, 40%.
LEX 18 has got bigger, different numbers. 31% of the state reporting. Booker, 56,863. McGrath, 53,691.
There you go.
42 to 40. So Booker's, like we've been talking about, he's slowly been closing the gap as more counties are reporting. And according to LEX 18, which is, what Secretary of State says is official, but they've got Booker ahead right now, which is kind of surprising.
And that may be that early vote coming in from Lexington.
Right. It could be.
Bumping those numbers up. I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at now. Right now, that they have called the race for Andy Barr with 141,000 votes to Daniel Cameron's 74,000 votes. And then right now, Charles Booker with 58,361 to Amy McGrath's 55,046. It appears that might be the absentee and early voting out of Fayette County, which has bumped that number up. Now, with 75% reporting in the U.S. House District 4 race in the Republican primary, Ed Gallrein has 54% of the vote, 46,180 to Thomas Massie, 38,657. NBC, and I think we will as well, we are calling this the race for the House District for the Republican side on the primary is going to be called for Ed Gallrein, who will win the Republican primary for the 4th District, unseating the 7-time House member Thomas Massie in a big surprise. I don't think any other way to say that. 2 months ago, this was not a close race, regardless of what was happening. This has become the most expensive House primary race ever, with over $30 million pumped into the area. And it appears that Donald Trump and his supporters will once again get a win in the primary and will carry Ed Gallrein to the U.S. House District 4 Republican primary win.
Yeah, when Shelby County reported, he picked up 1,300 more votes. That's a big margin in his home county. And
he will take on Yeah, he will take on Melissa Strange in the general election in November. She ended up
Never heard of her. Have you ever heard of her?
no, but she
Yeah.
he will be the proverbial favorite going into the election in November.
Yeah.
We will also call the race for Ralph Alvarado, Dr. Ralph Alvarado, with 20,933 votes right now, with 50% of all of the votes reporting, or the precincts reporting, I should say. He has a 55 to 27% lead over Ryan Dotson, 10,393. And he will go on to represent the Republican side in the 6th district. And it looks like he will take on Zach Dembo, although there's much fewer reporting on that side. It has not been called quite yet for Zach Dembo, but he has 9,777 votes.
And we still got, I say, Oldham is out, Nelson's out for the 4th, Trimble, Spencer. There's still quite a few counties out, but every county that we've seen so far, Nelson County, that's Bardstown, every county's been about the same difference. So if this pattern holds, yeah, he'll win. But
well, I just
think somebody has called it already.
Yeah, NBC has called it, and I've called it for us. But I'm going to tell you right now that there's just not enough votes out there for him to pick up a 5,500 vote lead.
Yeah.
It's at this point, it's not even 5,500; it's 8,000 votes at this point. That there's just not enough votes out there for him to pick it up. I think with 76% in, that's a done deal.
Yeah, it's a big victory. You always wonder what's in these guys' heads, these candidates. Well, you know, because you were there.
Done that.
The relief of winning, and for a farmer, you can say a farmer, but he was on SEAL Team 6, so he's a badass. But for a farmer out of Shelby County to beat a 7-term incumbent in the United States Congress,
it is no small feat. I mean,
no small, it's not at all. I mean, that's pretty darn big. All the pictures of Gallrein, you see the CNN and MS Now people will say, well, his hair's messed up. He can't take time to get out of his farming clothes, but he's a 5th generation farmer. God knows how to fight. God knows how to win for sure. And he's pulled it out here.
We always say we're very interested when Kentucky becomes the center of the political map, and that's exactly what has happened here. And it's shocking to me how quickly things changed for Thomas Massie, and it seemed like over the last month, his campaign has essentially done everything they could to not weather the storm. I think that's.
Let me ask you this: do you think all the far left Democrats coming out for Massie hurt Massie in Kentucky because he had so much?
No, I think what would hurt Massie in Kentucky is the fact that Northern Kentucky, where the 4th district is such strong supporters of President Trump that when President Trump gave his full-throated support, that it was a done deal at that point. I didn't think there was any way in the world that this could happen, but now that it has, and then obviously some stuff we won't talk about on air tonight, some allegations and things that came through, but none of it was good in the last 30 days for Thomas Massie. And
October surprise.
When Ro Khanna is your big supporter and Lauren Boebert, those two names don't make sense, and it doesn't. Right. It didn't bode well for him. And like we said a couple weeks ago, when the primary occurred in Indiana, that was no bueno for Thomas Massie, right? Because you had 5 Republican senators that lost, and maybe a 6th, depending on what ends up happening in that race, that were on the list, if you will, from Trump. Go after your races, and then you saw what happened to Bill Cassidy, and now you're seeing it tonight with Thomas Massie. I can't say that we're surprised, but if
we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks,
we have, and we said that we thought that this could and might very likely happen, and it has. It appears that it has.
Somebody asked us about the Louisville mayor's race. Louisville still hasn't reported anything.
Louisville is reporting literally 0 votes. It looks like,
and of course, it's the most advanced county in Kentucky, and they've got nothing. Which is, I never understand that. But I had forgot Greenberg was running. I've seen some pictures of some facial expressions in some of the debates that he was giving off, but I have no idea on how he's going to be perceived from what he's done or what he hadn't done in Louisville. But it's, since he's running and it's the mayor of the biggest city in Kentucky, it'd be something to follow tonight.
I'm deep diving into Louisville to see if we can find any. It doesn't look like they're.
I didn't see anything.
I will say that Brandon Smith won his race in Kentucky District 30 Senate primary. Not a real shocker there. Sarah Cole McIntosh has won her race on the Dem side of state Senate 36. Kim Holloway has won the GOP side in the District 2 for the state house.
And it looks like we can say David F. Charles has won the 74th House District.
It looks like, yep.
Yeah. And the Denniston guy campaigned hard.
I will tell you that in the Kentucky District 63rd, Kim Bonta, who is the incumbent, appears to have lost that race by 13 votes to Cole Cusick.
My goodness. Yeah. Yep. That's right. 13 votes.
For those of you who are asking, I just got the first votes in, 19% of the votes in. This is from the AP. Craig Greenberg, 19,931 votes with 56% to Shamika Parrish Wright, 7,682 with 21.6%. The next is Tina Burnell with 4,118 or 11% of the vote.
Yeah, I have no clue how. I don't even remember seeing on. I'm sure there were. I just wasn't watching TV, seeing even in many commercials from any of the candidates. Unlike out in California with Spencer Pratt and Mayor Bass, that's just fun to watch for all the videos they're putting out. Somebody just posted Rand Paul next.
Well, I will tell you. Obviously Rand Paul runs in 28, so he'll run in 2 years.
Presidential year.
During the presidential year.
So we could have Hegseth.
2 senators.
Yeah, we could have Hegseth running for president, family in Eastern Kentucky. Rand Paul coming up for a race, and
you mean Vance?
I mean Vance. What I say?
That Hegseth.
Hegseth. I got Hegseth on my brain. Now J.D. Vance running partially out of Kentucky, being a home guy. Rand Paul. We could be the center of the universe based on the location of where they were born for the 2028 presidential election. We'll have a lot more TV during this upcoming presidential election than Kentucky normally gets.
Well, and don't forget that as soon as we get done with these races in the fall, the Kentucky State constitutional offices start up immediately. So, and you may see some of the exact same names that you see right now in a lot of those races as well, because, the one thing Kentucky is good at, and that's recycling. We recycle every politician. We recycle every job.
You think you saw a lot of campaign commercials now?
No idea what's about to come.
Next year. Because there'll be national money in that, because the guys that'll be running all have national profiles. And of course, we talked earlier about Comer, James Comer, head of he's going to be, remember the newspaper that he talked to, and they put it out, and of course it blew up all over Twitter, all over X, that he was.
Congressman Comer says he will be on the show with us. He is our neighbor, and he will come on and talk to us.
I hope so.
I would say that Congressman Comer will probably be on here, and we'll be happy to talk about his plans in the near future. And we'll if you're watching, Congressman, come on the show anytime you want. Just walk down the street.
Well, I've got a text into him.
Okay.
And but he's kind of busy right now with all the stuff going on.
Busy.
DC.
Right now, I will tell you again, just to update the numbers. Charles Booker right now with 33% of precincts reporting in the state holds a slight lead, 61,377 to Amy McGrath's 58,639. It's about 2,700 vote difference. If I did the math right, I think I did. And about 1.5% to 2% difference between those two. Andy Barr has ran away with the U.S. Senate Republican primary side with just 47% of precincts reporting, 153,728 or 60% of the vote to Daniel Cameron's 81,871, and it's not even that close. Right now, with 81% of all votes in, Ed Gallrein, 47,781 to Thomas Massie, 39,947. And that is about all she wrote in that race. That is going to do it. Ed Gallrein's going to pull off the upset of the incumbent in the 4th congressional district tonight, and
that's the one that'll be talked about nationwide right there.
It will, and right
now, maybe even the Sunday shows.
Right now, they actually have Gallrein up by 9.1 points. And remember, the last polls that came out, Craig, just over the weekend were Gallrein 8.
Correct.
And I thought that was crazy. Right now, Andy Barr with 50% of the vote in is winning by 29 points. Jamie Comer, 81.5.
We can just forget that when that's done.
Yeah. Rogers, oddly enough, Hal Rogers is the one that is below all the other ones right now. He's at 63.2%.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even tell you how many turns, but he's over 80, and he's delivered for Eastern Kentucky, so he's there as long as he wants to be. And they'll be naming things after him when he retires.
Sure has. Some of the other small races that we talked about here locally, you will have Logan Curry on the Republican side for the sheriff versus the sitting incumbent Dwayne Depp, who is a decorated law enforcement officer as well. Those two will be going at it in the magisterial districts. Perhaps I don't know if it's a surprise, but the incumbent Eric Wisman wins handily. I don't think there's any other way of putting it.
Yeah, I think he's going to run against Jacob Heck on the Republican side.
He is, and then when it comes to the House seat, the 6th district, Dr. Ralph Alvarado is going to win that very easily. He's now at a 28-point lead with 50% of the vote in, just about 58%. Right now, with 85% of the vote in, Gallrein's going to end up with a 10-point win.
Yeah, he got a 9,500 vote margin.
Yeah,
so that's huge.
So we will go ahead and call that race. Ed Gallrein is going to win the U.S. District House 4 primary, unseating the 7-time incumbent Thomas Massie out of Northern Kentucky after $32 million was pumped into that race over the last year. And Ed Gallrein, former Navy SEAL, decorated
SEAL Team 6
veteran, and a lot of folks, even in our comments, are saying, he went to the basement strategy. He wouldn't debate Massie. He apparently had some people in his campaign that told him,
"Don't.
You're ahead. Don't you don't."
So now we've got a Navy SEAL senator representing Shelby County in the Kentucky Senate, and now we've got a Navy SEAL, and there's more than one Navy SEAL serving in Congress, I believe. We got a Navy SEAL representing us in the 4th.
Well, you're losing Dan Crenshaw. He's out of there, so he's
Dan's gone. But let me see who else. Let me look that up while we're going through here, because that's interesting to see.
I will also say
Interesting for
that
me anyway.
I will tell you that right now with 52% of the vote counted, Andy Barr has 29 point lead. Jamie Comer with 81.5% lead and only 23% of the votes in, but that's going to hold. Brett Guthrie has a 75-point lead.
Zinke, that's who I was trying to think of.
Okay. And then in the House District 4, as we've been talking all night, with 85% of the vote in, Ed Gallrein with a 9.6 percentage point lead, now leading 8,500 votes or so. And Dr. Ralph Alvarado is going to carry the U.S. House District 6 on the Republican side as well. Let's update you on the Charles Booker, Amy McGrath vote. Right now, this will be the closest one of the night, and it won't even be close. Charles Booker, this is with 37% of the vote in, only about a third of the vote in total. Charles Booker, 66,201 or 41.4% to Amy McGrath, 64,597 or 40.4%. 1 percentage point separates them. And right now, Pamela Stevenson out of Lexington with 9,743 votes or 6.1%. Dale Lewis Romans also has 6,700 votes. There is 10 points between those two candidates that are carrying the difference between this race, it looks like.
And we called it early when she only had 600 votes, I think, or 333 votes.
Yep.
We said that she could be the spoiler. It's just amazing how these elections work and how Gallrein, I just can't get over that, how easily he's won. In the Booker McGrath race, Amy, she was always considered an afterthought because she's ran so many times.
Yep.
But she's putting up a heck of a battle. And Booker had most of Kentucky going with him. And he's only up 1,700 votes. And most of Kentucky still hasn't reported, especially Western Kentucky.
Yeah, and I don't know how that equates as those start to come in. It looks like Hopkins County is now in, Logan County is in, Edmondson, Grayson County, Hardin County was in early. They must have them new highfalutin machines if they can.
Hillbilly in the East Asia 6122.
Yep.
Ed Gallrein is a Navy SEAL. He was a captain in SEAL Team 6, to be specific. He said it's reported.
Sir.
He is a Navy SEAL.
All right. We are updating all of our screens. We each have about 7 screens going right now. So that Charles Booker race has gotten a little bit closer. Charles Booker this is with still 38% of the vote in, 67,132 with 41% of the vote. Amy McGrath, 66,054. So right now, about 1,100 votes. She has 40.4%. It's about 0.6% difference between those two, about 1,100 votes in a very, very close race.
I had no idea it would be this close. None.
Now, again, and let me go ahead and throw this out there. Only a portion of Jefferson and Fayette County are reporting. Mm-hmm. So when those come in, I believe Charles Booker will take a safe lead based upon how the polling was going in those areas.
Yeah, he should win Louisville pretty easily.
But then you're going to end up having Western Kentucky, where I think Amy McGrath is going to do very well. Southern Kentucky that is still out. I think she's going to
Fort Campbell's down there.
Yeah, and so
there's a lot of veterans down in that area.
And I think she's going to hold her own down there. I will say statewide, she had about 60% of the absentee vote that's been reported so far, 60-40. So take that for what it's worth. There's going to be a ton of votes that come in Jefferson and Fayette counties.
Yeah. Let's see, anything on the Jefferson County mayor's race?
Yeah, I can. Right now, Craig Greenberg's way up, 56% of the vote to Shamika Parrish Wright at 21.2%.
That probably, because it was, I've not heard nothing. I didn't even know he was running. The mayor was up this time.
30% of the vote is in. So there is still, like I said, a significant amount of vote that is still out there.
Yeah. So that's probably not even a race in Jefferson County.
No, I'd say they're. I will tell you that the AP may be late to the game, but the AP is now called the Ed Gallrein.
Oh, that's the gold seal right there.
It is. The AP has officially called it, and he's about to take a 10-point lead as this puppy closes up here.
What channel are you watching on your TV?
I've got right now I've got YouTube going in the background because our local stuff went
I'm gonna
off.
see what the Fox News and CNN got. Commercial. Too much stuff blocking the channel.
Once again, in the House 63rd district and the for the Kentucky State House in the primary, Cole Cusick has unseated Kim Bonta, the incumbent, by 13 votes.
Would you like some more information? Just call 877-80-INVEST. That's 8.
Once again, thank you for joining us tonight on Apex News Above the Noise. We have a daily show at 5 p.m. that we go live and do. It has all of your local, state, national news, as well as a lot of Kentucky sports updates and things that we find interesting. We hope you guys do too. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us tonight. It really means a lot to Craig and I. I'm always joined here with my good friend Craig, and I'm Kyle. And thanks for joining us tonight as we are trying to give you some updates on this breaking news. This is very vital breaking news that will affect the entire United States and potentially Congress moving forward. So thanks for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll try to keep you all entertained while we also give you some of these numbers as well.
Yeah, because I think all the big races are all we got left is a Democrat Senate race. And that's going to probably go down to the wire.
Yeah, with 38% of the vote in. Let's see if that number stays the same. Yeah, 38% of the vote in. Charles Booker has 67,685, 41% to Amy McGrath, 66,784, less than 900 votes separating them, or 40.4%.
Isn't that amazing?
0.6% difference. A lot of money went into that campaign as well. There are a lot of folks who think that either one of those candidates might give Andy Barr a run for his money. They truly believe that they could have given Daniel Cameron a run for his money. Now,
yeah.
I think that they will not think they have as good a shot, but they're putting a lot of money into this, and they believe that they'll have a shot at going after Congressman Barr as he runs for the U.S. Senate seat to replace longtime Senator Mitch McConnell, who has retired.
And like you said, we'll recycle the same names again. I don't know if anybody new will come in, but
we're great at recycling.
Yeah, it's Pamela Stevenson. She got 10,000 votes now. That's
6% of the vote between her and Dale Lewis Romans and even Logan Forsythe. And they have 13.5 points.
Yeah, I don't remember her. I looked up all the candidates, but even Joshua Blanton, who's just not related to me, he's got 5,500 votes and didn't do nothing. I think they just had Facebook pages. But Pamela Stevenson getting 10,000 votes, that's probably on her name ID from running before for office.
I mean, she is a Kentucky State representative, and she's she is throwing her hat into national
politics. 10,000 now.
She's got 10,000 votes, and that's obviously going to make a difference for whoever comes in second place here. So,
and 900 vote difference between Booker and McGrath favoring Booker. This is just amazing.
Yeah, I've got some new numbers in. Charles Booker, 69,091 votes, or 41%. Amy McGrath holding kind of close, 67,854. We're about 1,200 vote difference between the two of them, or 40.3%. Just for fun, I'll tell you that Andy Barr, 190,374, 60.2% versus Daniel Cameron, 98,631, 31.2%. A lot of money was pumped into that particular race as well. President Trump gave his endorsement to Andy Barr a few weeks ago. Immediately after that, you had Nate Morris drop out of the race and then give his endorsement to Andy Barr. And so perhaps that was the big difference, but obviously,
Georgia Republican primary,
yes.
the sitting governor, Brad Raffensperger? Is that the governor?
Yep.
He's getting slaughtered.
Well, Raffensperger was the Secretary of State.
That's what it is. Okay,
Kemp is the sitting.
Yeah, he's getting hammered. And he was a Trump foe also. He's only got 15%. Now Fox News is showing just Kentucky and Georgia. They're showing Andy Barr at 59.9, Booker 31.4. Unbelievable. And still probably 25 or 30 counties not reporting on Fox News, but they're focusing on the Massie race. They've called it too. Ed Gallrein at 54% to 45%. So they've called it too. So
we got one right, is what you're saying.
So it's a celebration on the farm in Shelby County tonight.
I'll tell you, in that Georgia governor's race, Brad Raffensperger, who is the former Secretary of State, who obviously was a foe of Trump during the 2020 election.
Yeah.
They sparred back and forth for numerous reasons. He is getting trounced tonight. Only 15% of the vote. But there is a race going on between Burt Jones and Rick Jackson. It's about 8,000 votes between them, only about 2 percentage points, and only about 33% of the vote in. So that will be interesting. Keisha Lance Bottoms way ahead. She 256,000 votes. She is the mayor of
running for governor.
Yeah, is that the mayor of Atlanta? Is that
who was? Yeah, she was. She's a good candidate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Keisha Bottoms. She's a really good candidate. But she's out of Atlanta.
Yep, and she's got big numbers behind her. Nothing's out of Idaho yet. I think that'll stay solidly red. I don't think there's any issues there. Right now, they have the same numbers that I have on the Kentucky primary in the Democrat race. Charles Booker, 71,185 or 40.93%. To Amy McGrath, 70,205 or 900 votes difference between these two at 40.37%. So again, 0.56 is separating these two individuals right now.
That's just amazing. And now all the people that favored Booker or favored McGrath that didn't get out and vote, are wishing they had got out and voted now.
For those of you who are just joining us, Ed Gallrein has pulled off the upset of Thomas Massie. Whether you think it was an upset or not, the incumbent, seven-time incumbent, has lost. The bane of Trump's existence in the House many times is now lost his congressional seat. Obviously, he will fill out his term, which will end in about 7 months. But Ed Gallrein, who will be the proverbial favorite going into November, he'll take on Melissa Strange in the fall. He had double her numbers already just in the primary. So we're looking at it one way or the other. There will be a new congressman from the 4th district in northern Kentucky.
And just by voter registration in his counties, it's his race to lose. If he gets stuck on the farm or something like that, or gets called back to duty, gets called back to service.
I think he'll be allowed to forego that at this point. I will tell you, in the Nebraska governor primary, Jim Pillen, who is the incumbent, is winning easily. He's got 76% of the vote. And in the Nebraska Senate primary, Pete Ricketts has 81.47. That's a Senate, Nebraska Senate primary. And then the 2nd district primary down there is between Denise Powell and John Kavanaugh. A couple thousand votes separate them. And we'll talk about this again. Louisiana Senate primary that happened on Saturday was again after what happened in Indiana. in their primary, and then now moving on to see what happens in Louisiana, and now in Kentucky. This is becoming a pattern, Craig.
Right. If three's a pattern.
Yeah. If
a coincidence.
Yeah. Once you get 3 times in a row, and I, if I'm not on the Trump train at this point, whether you're a local, senator, in a state Senate or a House member, you got to be worried that if you don't follow what is coming down from Washington, that you could be primaried and you could lose. It's a very good chance you could lose at this point.
Trump just made a post on Truth Social. Trump-backed candidate Gallrein defeats Thomas Massie. So he's reveling in the glory already. See if I can pull it up here real quick. Trump. Oh, he's got. They're putting all kinds of them up. I know he's not doing this, but
the
got all kinds of images.
The Washington Post has just posted 3 minutes ago that Representative Thomas Massie loses GOP primary, and he is the latest casualty of Trump's wrath. Here you go. I mean, the Kentucky primary just 2 weeks ago was.
I'll send this. You can put it up. You can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a couple weeks ago was a statistical tie, if not Massie leading. And then over the weekend, the latest poll that came out was the Qantas poll, and Qantas is very good at what their polling. Came out, there was an 8-point lead for Gallrein, and I think you and I both, Craig, looked at each other and said, "There's no way." I mean, he made 8 points, and he's winning by 9 points right now.
I think we were burning the phone up as soon as that poll hit.
Yeah,
we reached out to each other and said, "This cannot." I didn't think it was right. I went digging around. I thought it was false information. But, an AI type thing somebody worked up, but it was legit as could be. And it panned out even a little bit better than it was.
Well, I think the thing is there was so much money put into this race that you never know what polling is actually going to do when it comes to these things. And I've always said that Republican polling, you can't measure Republican polling. But in a primary, I was really shocked how correct those numbers actually were. I mean, I'm going to have to keep an eye on Qantas. But the other thing is the poly market and those markets, people were putting their money into it. And you and I saw this a week ago. We started seeing that things were changing, and that's exactly what ended up happening here.
Yeah, and with the Booker McGrath thing being so close, I don't remember anybody saying that it was going to be a close race. And certainly with Stevenson being the spoiler with almost 11,000 votes now, that's just amazing. I think there's let's see, 72-3. So about a 1,400 vote difference. Is that still what you reported a little while ago? 1,400.
Let's see here.
Which means Booker has picked up a little.
He did. Still 0.6%. Charles Booker at 74,169 to Amy McGrath 72,985. So that number is still holding. I'm going to try to share that here in a second. Let me see if I can get this to him.
Yeah, Trump's been sending, or not Trump, but somebody's been working overtime. There's an Andy Barr one too. You want that one?
Yeah, you can send it over to me. So this is from Truth Social. Donald Trump celebrating the Ed Gallrein win tonight. It's always surprising when an incumbent loses. It's extremely surprising when a previously very popular incumbent loses, and it's even more surprising when an incumbent who used to be very popular loses by almost double digits. It's shocking.
Yeah. I sent the other one.
I got it.
Okay. And I mean, is that Trump's mugshot?
Yeah, it's also his presidential photo. That
I knew that, and
they all look the same. They all look the same. I like Ed. Ed is great.
Jesse Waters has started his show, or he's getting toward the end, and he called it TDS Tuesday, Trump Derangement Syndrome Tuesday.
They've all got it. So
yeah. Not that we're picking either side.
We're not. We're just telling it like it is. I mean, the man is a cult of personality. Whether you're on his side or not, the man holds weight, especially in local
Keith
elections. So,
Loren said Ed took him to the woodshed.
yeah, we can't deny that. That's a fact.
I bet he does have a woodshed on his farm too.
I bet she does too.
But then again, Massie, an MIT graduate, got his master's in electrical engineering. Smart guy.
I will say, we don't take sides here. We just try to report the news. I will tell you, I took the bar exam with Andy Barr. I've known Andy Barr. Andy has come and had lunch with me multiple times. I find him to be a tremendously good person. I'm very happy for him. I hated that he went through the horrific loss of his wife, and then now he is going to be on pace. He will take on either Charles Booker or Amy McGrath to become the junior senator from Kentucky.
Well, maybe as we get our numbers up, we can get Andy Barr to stop by and make a 15-minute appearance.
Hope he will. He is a good dude, and I'm very happy for him. Regardless of politics, I'm happy that Andy is doing well. New numbers in Charles Booker 75,840, 40.9%. To Amy McGrath 74,923. It is a difference of 880 votes. 40.5% or 0.4% total. Let's see if I can share this screen as it.
Yeah, there's I bet that's shocking all the Democrats across Kentucky that this race is this close.
Well, I think the other thing that shocks
people.
Big
Mike.
Hey,
watching
Big Mike.
From Saudi Arabia.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's up, brother?
That's our guy right there.
I'll be seeing you Thursday.
I'll
be watching you Thursday.
Thanks for checking in, Mike. He for you guys who are big Kentucky basketball fans, check out Mike's show. It is phenomenal. He has fans on, lets them just talk, which is great, from all over the world. He's over in Saudi Arabia.
Cam Williams' dad has been on the last 3 or 4. I'll look up the Clay County. 3 or 4 3 or 4 shows on Thursday night, and it's just a breath of fresh air to listen to Greg Williams talk about UK and just basketball in general for hours on end. Oh, you pulling something up?
We are going to try to zoom in on this puppy right here.
While you're doing that, I'm looking up. Let's see. Clay County Judge Executive Primary. No votes have been reported yet to the Secretary of State's website, Jeff Croucher. So can't report on anything yet. There's Clay County Judge Executive Democrat. So, let's see. Yeah, there's nothing in on Clay County yet.
These numbers are coming in from Louisville Public Media, which has had the most up-to-date numbers. Right now, Charles Booker, 77,123, 41% to Amy McGrath, 76,012 votes, 40.4%. Again, it's going to be a barn burner. I can look and see who has reported and not reported numbers in at this point. They, again, still have Fayette County, and Jefferson County is not reporting in enough numbers to count. Western Kentucky is still out. Davis County, which is Owensboro.
Big vote total.
McCracken County, which is Paducah, big vote total down there. Warren County is still out there. So as these numbers change, we
can call the mayor's race in Louisville.
Yeah,
winning
the mayor's race in Louisville is over at this point.
So Andy Barr's in. You got any new numbers on Booker and McGrath Because I know they're
Yeah,
coming in.
right now, 77,123 or 41% of the vote to Charles Booker, and 76,012 votes or 40.4% for Amy McGrath.
Back up to 1,100.
Yeah, it's right at 1,100 votes.
It's a pretty strong comeback for him. And if this pattern keeps going, because he was behind early.
Well, and only 43% of the vote is in at this point.
Yeah.
And with 65% of the vote, 64% of the vote in, Andy Barr is increasing his lead over Daniel Cameron.
Yeah, that's done.
On. I just
Booker and McGrath was the race of the night that nobody anticipated.
Yeah, I can't get over how big Andy Barr won, and again, the endorsement of Trump obviously helped, but at the same time,
Gallrein too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
Oh, you've got it up on screen. I've been looking at my screens in the TV. I didn't even know you had that up. So
right now, with 96% of the vote in, Ed Gallrein is winning by 10,000 votes. He's almost a 10-point lead over Thomas Massie. You know, obviously, called the race. Everybody's called the race, but I think at this point, it's just a matter of how big the win will be.
Right. Yeah. Would you think this is embarrassing for Massie?
Knowing who Thomas Massie is, he's not embarrassed. He's disappointed. I mean, I think he genuinely cares about Kentucky. But at the same time, I don't even think he anticipated. In fact, he posted something today. I'll see if I can find it. I thought I sent it to you, but essentially, he told.
I don't think he did.
LEX18, quote, "People don't know who he is," talking about Gallrein. "They're panicked because the president's done 11 posts about the race in the last 72 hours. They sent the Secretary of War here. Polling shows the same thing as mine. We're probably going to pull this off," I will say.
Oh, well, that's what Massie said?
Massie said that.
Well, he's got to say it.
Well, you got to say it, but, I mean, I don't know if I would have said I think I'm going to pull it off if your polling was any indication what the Qantas polling and this polling was. But
yeah.
Be that as it may, for those of you who are just joining us tonight, thank you. You have found Apex News Above the Noise. We have a daily show about 5 o'clock, myself and my buddy Craig here. We are giving you all of the election primary results tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Give us a like and a follow if you would. Thanks for all the comments and everybody joining in, all the folks who have joined us tonight. We'll just start off with the federal races in the U.S. Senate. On the GOP side, Andy Barr has easily won his race with almost 60% of the vote, 211,000 to 111,000. Right now, the race that everyone's watching is Charles Booker with 77,845 to 77,090. So now we're at about a 750-ish range, about 0.4 percentage points separating. It is getting tight. Congressman Jamie Comer of the powerful House Oversight Committee has easily won his primary election tonight with 87.7% of the vote so far. Brett Guthrie from the 2nd District has won his. The big one that everybody is checking out tonight is the House 4th District, where Ed Gallrein has won with 54.8%. Currently, to Thomas Massie, 45.2%. We're now at
shocker.
Yeah, he's got a 10,000 vote lead. It's insurmountable. NBC, CNN, and the AP have now called that. 7-time incumbent Thomas Massie will lose his seat in Northern Kentucky, and Ed Gallrein will take on Melissa Claire Strange in November. In Louisville, the Louisville race for mayor is over. Essentially, Craig Greenberg is going to win that over Harris, right? Yeah. You vote for everybody.
I vote for everybody named Craig.
And really, the only surprise in any of these is there is a House seat down here. I can't find it right now, but
it was Kim somebody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let me look. Also.
And so here in Frankfort and Franklin County, Sheriff Dwayne Depp won on the Democrat side.
Kim Bonta, House District
Yeah.
63.
Kim Bonta down in House District
She's
63
now
is
losing by a
13
total of 13 votes.
13 votes is going to be the difference in that one, I think. And
Yep, 99% reported.
Sheriff Dwayne Depp won on the Democrat side for sheriff in Franklin County. He will take on Logan Curry from the Republican side. Kudos to those guys for joining in the race. Craig, right now in the U.S. Senate race, Amy McGrath, 79,854 to Charles Book. I changed as soon as I
changed, yeah. She's
Amy
in the lead again.
Amy McGrath with a 5,000 vote lead all of a sudden.
Where'd that come from? Fayette County?
Must have come from Fayette County. Their
Had
number
to.
must have come in 73,685 or 41.8% to Charles Booker's 68,578. Now only 41% of the vote is in at this point. So take that for what it's worth. You know, that's the race that's still left out there is Amy McGrath and Charles Booker. Who will take on Andy Barr in the U.S. Senate race? And we've talked about it all night, but Pamela Stevenson has 6% of the vote.
Yeah.
And
she didn't jump up on that time. She only picked up like 100 votes.
Which makes me think that those numbers may have come from Jefferson County only because Pamela Stevenson would have gotten a bunch of numbers from Lexington. So that's actually very surprising.
And to see well, I guess essentially, let's see, eventually almost a 6,000 vote swing for McGrath. That's because we've been seeing just a few hundred votes going back and forth. And with Booker starting out with a big lead, then McGrath caught up to him. I mean, McGrath had the big lead. Booker caught up and had it about 1,000 each update.
I will tell you this: I just got another update from another source. Now I'm up at 45. This is 45% of voting in right now. Amy McGrath has a 180 vote lead, 79,854 to 79,677.
The other one had a 5,000.
Yeah. So I think Lexington is coming in right now, which is what is in different parts of Lexington are increasing that. We've called the race for the House District 6 Republican primary. Ralph Alvarado has easily won that with 55% of the vote. Ryan Dotson, great showing by Ryan Dotson, 28% of the vote with 11,759 votes. Zach Dembo right now, only 30% of the vote is in, but he has a 40% to 30% lead over Cheryl Lynn Stevenson, 10,955 to 8,200.
What was your vote total for Amy McGrath?
Right now,
983.
I was 79,854. Now I've got, well, now it
jumped big again. Let's see.
Mine went
5,000 again.
Mine went backwards in time, which is
that's what I think. Somebody made a mistake because it was 177 vote difference, and now it's back up to
5,200.
5,200, yeah.
Right now, Amy McGrath, 74,075 votes, 41.8% to Charles Booker, 68,811, 38.9% of the vote. There is about 5,200 votes separating them and about 3 percentage points. Pamela Stevenson did not jump up at all in those numbers.
Right. Let's see. John Root won his. He just texted his, "Turn out the lights. The party's over. We won."
All right, more votes are in now with 41% of the vote counted in the Kentucky Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Amy McGrath, 74,075 or 41.8% of the vote to Charles Booker's 68,811, about 5,200 votes still at 38.9%. There's about a 3-point difference between the two right now. The numbers are coming in pretty quick, but when they're jumping, Craig, they're jumping significantly for Amy McGrath at this point. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I'm going to go look at state.
Well, remember Booker was holding about a 1,000 to 2,000 vote lead, and while we were reporting on it, she had a 5,000 or 6,000 vote jump, just super quick.
Davis County has come in. I can tell you that. I can tell you if that's yeah.
This might be too close to call all night long.
She won Davis County, which is Owensboro, by 600 votes.
Whoa.
She won Henderson by 600 votes. Hopkins County, I can tell you that she won that by about 105 votes. So Western Kentucky and Southern Kentucky are doing well for McGrath, but nothing is in from Lexington. No major numbers are in from Fayette County or Jefferson County. And Amy McGrath needs to have she needs to have a big lead going into Jefferson County, because I think Booker's going to win big in Jefferson County. Your thoughts on that?
Same thing. I think he did a lot of campaigning previously in Jefferson County, and he's done it again this time, because I did see many of his commercials on the Louisville TV stations, not too many on the Lexington ones, and but I didn't see much on Amy McGrath at all. But both of them had
name recognition.
Both of them had name ID.
Yeah.
So they might not have had to spend as much money. Here's Fox News reporting on Kentucky and Georgia again. They got Barr at 59.9 and Cameron at 31.5. And there's, let's see, let me count the counties. 1, 2, 3, 4. About 18 or 19 counties that still haven't reported on Fox News.
For Alabama governor, for those of you who are sports fans as well, Tommy Tuberville, with very low numbers in so far. They just closed their polls, but Tommy Tuberville with 86% of the vote in.
Yeah, he's going to win.
He is going to win.
I remember when he first ran for office, they were making fun of him, said he's old football, nobody. And
old football translates down in the South, though.
Yes, it does. He does in Alabama for sure.
Yeah. In Georgia, Burt Jones and Rick Jackson are battling it out in the Georgia governor primary. About 2.5 points separating them there. Keisha Lance Bottoms, former mayor of Atlanta, is easily winning the Democrat side for the Georgia governor's race. She has about 60% of the vote. And so it's kind of where things are sitting right now. Again, Andy Barr is essentially doubled up Daniel Cameron tonight in the Kentucky Senate primary with about 60% to about 31% of the vote. And we're sitting here waiting on numbers to come in with Amy McGrath and Charles Booker. It looks like about 3 points at this point separating the two of them at about 5,000 votes. And that's essentially the last race right now that we're.
Yeah, it was a dramatic swing. Burt Jones is leading governor of Georgia, 37.3 to Rick Jackson, 34.5. Close. And maybe Brad Ratzenberger will be the spoiler in that one, because he's at 14.8%.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I think Raffensperger thought that he was going to have a name recognition because of everything, but I don't think that works the same way.
It was a negative name recognition.
As the foil to Trump.
Right.
So kind of where we are on that one right there. I'll tell you, we're waiting right now. 42% of the vote is in on the Democrat Kentucky primary in the U.S. Senate. Right now, Amy McGrath has a 41.9% of the vote versus Charles Booker's 38.8%. So now we're at 3.1% between the two of them. And again, if 42% of the vote is in, that means no Fayette County and no Jefferson County, or at least not large numbers are in that. I will tell you, Andy Barr's numbers just went way up, which makes me think that Lexington has just come in, and we will see if those numbers jump here. So big change here. Big change.
Okay.
Charles Booker now has 91,031 votes. 92,257 votes. We told you this is going to change quick. With 42.2%, Amy McGrath now has 85,937, a vote difference of about 6,300 votes, and she has 39.3% of the vote. So it's about 2.9% percentage points between the two of them, with Charles Booker taking a more than 6,000 vote lead.
That was a 12,000 vote swing.
And that's that I believe was Fayette County, because Andy Barr's numbers went up significantly at that same time, and he obviously represented the 6th district for many, many years. And so I think that was probably the Lexington numbers. 72% of the vote is in the U.S. Senate on the GOP primary. I don't understand how that works out when you have 72% of the GOP primary in, but you only have 51% of the Democrat primary in. But whatever.
Well, they ain't dumped all their votes yet.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Ed Gallrein is on Sean Hannity right now on Fox News exclusively. It says on the screen, so he's getting the national media already. Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Well, it was great to get to know you a little bit earlier today on my radio show. You talked a lot about Tom Massie. We can go over it.
Yeah, we don't hear none of that. That's pretty cool. Kentucky's. We're getting more and more in the limelight every day.
Well, and as we're waiting on some of these other ones to come in, anybody who's just joining us for the first time, we talk about national news, local news, but we've talked about this before. Governor Andy Beshear for the state of Kentucky was polling in the 1% to 2% range. You and I have said for months and months that Andy Beshear is not going to finish in the 1% to 2% range. He is a Democrat governor of a very red Republican state. He comes across very moderate. So you would think that he will appeal more to people in the middle. Now he's taken some positions. I understand, folks in the chat are going to say, he's a far left liberal.
He's had to, yeah.
He's had to stay in the national spotlight. But I am telling you right now that that Governor Andy Beshear is going to be in the running for the president.
Well,
and he's already up to 4 or 5% in the Calshi market. And right now, AOC is leading in that market.
He was 4% in the regular poll besides the Calshi voting. AOC's at, I think I've even got a picture of it. I can try to send it to you.
And I think you sent it to me.
I predicted in February, and I'm still sticking with it, went public February, saying that Andy Beshear will win the Democrat nomination because of Newsom and Pritzker are just, they can't get out of the way. Pritzker is fighting with the mayor of Chicago now. He ripped a new one in him over the weekend for whatever, I don't know what it was over, but I'm going to see if I can find that, if I took a screenshot of AOC with 28% leading the poll. And
right
Beshear's in it. Beshear's in that poll.
Yeah.
He's finally making the polls.
Yeah, and the point of that whole conversation was to say it's really cool to be in Kentucky politics right now and to follow Kentucky politics, because you will have an individual who is from Kentucky, who has lived the last 7 years and will be 8 years. He's lived in Frankfort and he's lived in Central Kentucky his entire life, running for president of the United States, whether you like him, don't like him, whatever. And then you have James Comer, who is the House Oversight Committee chair, very, very powerful role. You now have Andy Barr,
second most powerful, probably.
Yeah, and then you have Andy Barr, who has been, the 6th congressional district representative for a number of years now. He will be the favorite going into the fall with regard to the junior senator role. You then have Rand Paul, who is also a firebrand, and now you have Ed Gallrein winning the 4th congressional district. And all of a sudden, Kentucky politics is real important in the world. That's kind of crazy, huh, Craig?
Yeah, I think. I love it. Now, how will we capitalize on it? Because we had McConnell, that his number one goal was to get conservative judges elected, which he did. And McConnell will probably go down as the most consequential U.S. senator in American history by pushing all these things through. But on the Kentucky side, I don't know that he brought home the bacon like Hal Rogers has. Hal Rogers brought home millions and millions to Eastern Kentucky through earmarks and stuff. And I just don't know. McConnell might, do a bridge crossing the Ohio River that cost, millions and millions of dollars. But it took them 25 years to get the bridge approved in Congress or get the money for. And you think the majority leader of the Senate president, also could bring home the bacon to little bitty Kentucky. And I don't think I don't know enough about McConnell other than I know he first won in 1984.
Yep.
But I don't remember him bringing home the bacon on a level that Representative Hal Rogers did.
Well, I think the interesting thing about McConnell's legacy will be, just like you said, what he did with conservative judges, and obviously that was what he wanted.
Yep.
I think there are people in Kentucky who are disappointed in the end of Senator McConnell's term. I think honestly, what is happening tonight to Daniel Cameron is a bit of a blowback on Senator McConnell and his years, because Daniel Cameron was the choice for McConnell to take his seat, and he is not anywhere close to Andy Barr tonight. And so it's interesting that Kentucky, a small state when it comes to electoral college, the number of representatives we have, it has become at least a consequential state when it comes to national elections and even local elections. People are watching our local politics.
Yeah.
So
I just sent you a picture of the totals that I got off Super Grok. It's from a poll on May 4 to 7, showing her with 26%, Buttigieg with 22, Newsom with 21, and Kamala Harris at 13%. If you can get that up.
Yeah, it's an Atlas Intel poll. As I'm trying to get this up, an Atlas Intel poll, including Democrat voters, found AOC at the top of the hypothetical Democratic primary, according to Yahoo.com, with AOC with 26%, Pete Buttigieg at 22%, Gavin Newsom at 21%, and Kamala Harris at 13%. I don't think
it marks the first time she's led a major poll in 2028.
I don't think there's any way in the world those numbers stay that way, but
yeah,
we will see where that goes. Let's get an update real quick here. If I can get to the update desk. Oh boy, I think this race, we may be getting close to being able to call this one, Craig, with a big number of votes that have just been dumped in. Charles Booker with 139,475, or 46.6%, to Amy McGrath at 107,929 at 36%.
Yeah.
That is 10% vote change right there, or difference between the two of them, 10.6%. That's with 70% of the votes that have been counted. I think that race is now effectively over. I think there's still 30% of the vote to go, but I don't think you're going to get enough 100 to 0 votes to make it.
Channel 18's called it. Let me see if the AP's called it. But Channel 18's called it for Booker, because he's had a bunch of votes come in here at the last minute.
I will tell you that the AP has not called it yet.
They haven't yet. Okay.
As we said, that's the chef's kiss of called races. So, yeah, we are now at 10.6 point difference between Charles Booker and Amy McGrath. That had to be Louisville that came in.
It had to be, yeah.
Thing that makes
that's the one we've been waiting on.
Fayette County. Fayette County has dropped all of their numbers at this point. And in Fayette County alone, let's go to that one because I think that'll make a difference. In Fayette County, Charles Booker defeated Amy McGrath by 12,000 votes, Craig.
And that's her county.
21,347 to 9,504. And it wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
So now it looks like Pamela Stevenson's not going to be the fly in the ointment.
Spoiler.
Yeah. We now have
it's a 22,000 vote. AP's not called it yet. I'm going to keep it on that.
Yep, 10.6%, 139,475 to 107,929, so 21,500 votes. I'm seeing all the other results in the state, even the ones where she is winning, and I don't see a path to victory, even if she won by 1,000 votes, even in these small counties. I mean, I don't know where the votes would come from for her to win.
There's a graph on the AP if you scroll down, color-coded graph, and Booker won. He's got it in green. Booker won Fayette big and won Louisville even bigger.
Well, there you go. That's
she won most of Eastern Kentucky, except for I think it looks like Bath County. And then he's won a whole lot more counties than her. He won all three. Now McGrath won all three in Northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, and Campbell. Booker won Franklin. That's correct.
Yeah, that's not a shock at all. Yeah, they NBC News Desk has called it for Charles Booker, as you said. And in local sports news, by the way, just coming across the board, Franklin County girls softball wins 12-2 over their rival Western Hills in a 6-inning game tonight.
Booker won so far in Jefferson County, according to AP, is plus 32.1%.
Wow.
There's your difference right there.
Yep. Yeah. I will tell you, you know,
9:11 p.m.
A lot of folks say that Republicans don't vote in primaries, and you know, things happen then. But in this U.S. Senate race right now, I'm looking at 380, 410,000. I'm looking at 410,000 Republican votes to about 250,000 Democrat votes.
Maybe we're just used to it locally where Republicans don't turn out to vote because there's been so few Republicans.
I think people say in midterms when you have a Republican president that, you know, Republicans don't turn out, and that's part of the reason there's a lot of turnover and flipping of houses and things like that. But in Kentucky, at least, people came out strong, and Republicans did, I should say, and both parties. There's a lot of votes for either side. Although I will tell you, you know, in the U.S. Senate race, Andy Barr winning by 30 points is just Ed Gallrein winning is obviously a shocker. You know, the fact that it's a shocker, but Andy Barr winning by 30 points, 30 points.
That's huge.
That's just, that's unbelievable how much money went into that. And think about how many campaign ads you watched.
They got Ted Cruz talking about the dude in Maine running that's going to probably win the Senate race with the Nazi guy. You know, the Nazi tattoo. Just think if a Republican had a Nazi tattoo and they covered it up with another symbol. I mean, the news media would be apoplectic. Is that how you say it?
I'm impressed. Was that on your word of the day toilet paper?
It would be something else. And but that guy, he's going to upset what's her face in Maine. He's going to beat her. I don't think there's any doubt of that right now. He's pretty far ahead. I'm going to start running these senators' names. We do this stuff more.
I will just going through all the stuff before we get those final numbers on Amy McGrath and Charles Booker, which are obviously we're still waiting on those final numbers. But currently on the U.S. Senate side, on the Republican side, Andy Barr, 258,185 votes, or 60.5% of the vote, versus Daniel Cameron, 131,879, or 30.9%. Right now, on the Democratic side, Charles Booker, 140,117, or 46.5%, to Amy McGrath's 108,467, 36%. So, I mean, there you are. There's that right there. James Comer's obviously going to win the
huge
House District 1 with 88% of the vote. Brett Guthrie with 85% of the vote. Maria Teresa Rodriguez is going to win the GOP side in District 3 for the House with 12,000 votes, and she will take on Morgan McGarvey. If that is...
If it's not redistricted.
Not redistricted by then, but there's no way of that happening. And then the Kentucky District 4 GOP primary, the big shocker of the night, although if you've been following us, you wouldn't think it was necessarily a shocker. Ed Gallrein with 57,053 votes, or 54.8%, versus Thomas Massie, 47,018, 45.2%, and he led the entire way from beginning to end. Won just about every different county that he was in. Hal Rogers, 77.1%. And Dr. Ralph Alvarado, congratulations, Dr. Ralph Alvarado, with 56.6% of the vote, will be the Republican nominee for the Kentucky District 6 House seat. And then he will take on Zach Dembo, it looks like, who has about close to 40% of the vote. Cheryl Lynn Stevenson coming in with about 31.9% of the vote as well.
Well, and the interesting race, like I was talking about a minute ago, Maine, Susan Collins is who I was trying to think of. She's, I think, a 6-term U.S. Senator, meaning 36 years. She's running again against Graham Plattner, who had that Nazi symbol over his left chest. And remember when Hegseth showed his tattoo, which he didn't cover up, all the rigmarole the national media went through, and they don't talk about Graham Plattner at all. And he could be Maine's, well, he will be, I'm pretty sure. He's far ahead in the polling against Susan Collins. So that's going to be one of our interesting races to watch in the fall, along with many others across the United States.
Yeah, we will. Before we get out of here, I will say with 71% of the vote in, it's now an 11-point lead for Charles Booker. I think we can probably put a fork on that one too. I think that's probably going to do it for all of our races tonight. Yeah. Charles Booker is going to win the Democrat seat for the U.S. Senate, and he will take on Andy Barr in the fall. Be ready for all sorts of money being pumped in to that race as well.
Yeah. I think outside Kentucky money.
Yeah, tons of money is going to be poured in there as well. But I think Andy Barr is probably easily the favorite going into that. Charles Booker has a loyal following, and we will have to see where that takes everybody. Mm-hmm. Any more thoughts you have before we get out of here?
Just one more time, because it's really important to us as our channel grows. Like you saw earlier, we've got a friend in Saudi Arabia that tuned in tonight. So we can say we're worldwide, but like, share, and subscribe, and click on the bell button and hit all. That way you'll get notified every time we're on the air. We try to do very interesting content without any of the pizzazz that you see, the gotcha stuff that you see on the national media. We just want to present the facts, and then you make your own judgment based on what we said.
Yep, absolutely. For my good friend Craig Blanton, who has started this little project with us just a couple months ago, we are one of the fastest growing YouTube channels in Kentucky. We're in the top 0.5% of growth. And that's because of you all. So thank you all for joining us. We want to thank everybody who came on tonight, who commented, who watched us tonight. There's been a bunch of you, and we can't thank you guys enough. Thanks to everybody who joined us and spent part of your election evening with us here on Apex News Above the Noise. We covered a lot tonight, Craig, from major national political shakeups to Kentucky congressional battles that turned out kind of wild, to local races that may end up affecting your communities every single day. As we continue watching these numbers roll in, remember something: elections are about more than headlines and percentages. They're about decisions that shape your schools, your taxes, your public safety, courts, businesses, and the direction of our community, obviously. To everyone who voted, everyone who volunteered, everyone who ran for office, and everyone who took the time to stay informed, thank you for participating in the process. We can't thank you guys enough. As Americans, that's all that matters. We don't care who you vote for. We just care that you vote. And
be an informed voter.
Be an informed voter. And thank you to all of you for being with us tonight. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the stream if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, because we're going to continue bringing you local news, Kentucky news, politics, and obviously sports and the stories that matter most. Until next time, stay informed, stay sharp, and stay above the noise. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.